It's on now.
These other guilds, Edema, I think they've hard run 4 people for AQ. Looks like they're in here. Looks like someone's parking people for AQ tonight.
We've done it before.
Okay, for some reason you logged in, or zoned in late call for a summon, but everyone should be staying logged in right now. We need to get buffs out right away.
I believe something was on the bounce. So if you're not here, just about now, can you pass for a summon if you're running on foot?
Does anyone know if Glute's coming here back on? Is he here?
Yeah, let's just see the buffs.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and log in. We're doing final buffs right now. If anybody's not here, make sure you're summoned to the raid for these buffs. Just type a 1, 2, 3 in raid and then your group number.
Remember to disable your writing set.
Can we get Coast in the raid?
If you guys haven't, I would say pop your nature potion.
Hey Laz, or Nightheal, since we have +1 by accident because my roster mistake, do you mind sitting if you're having serious latency issues? If you think it's unplayable, and we'll get Coast in right now, and then we can start. It's important we get Coast in for this. Alright, Nightheal's running out. As soon as Nightheal runs out and Coast runs in, summon Coast, and like 10 seconds of spot buffs, and we're pulling.
Someone say Swiftness does work.
So here, I'll admit to something. I accidentally took that Stormwind portal before the ZG buff went off because I was timing it with the cooldown and not the verification I got the buff. So we can test it right now. I have no ZG and I can turn on Swiftness.
Go forward. Death Beast, just keep running forward.
I'll put them on follow. And now I'm going to pop. I just pop Swiftness.
Yeah, it works. It does stack. Yeah, Death Beast.
Yeah, he's pulling away.
Definitely faster than Pro too.
It's multiplicative.
Now the question is, here, come here, Death Beast.
But we need to compare if it's... Yeah, make sure it's not the better one controlling it.
Hey guys, is Coast here or not?
No, still no.
He's having to run out. It's gonna take a second.
Yeah, you can just log probably right now. It'll be fine.
When are we pulling? Spouse are taking
Sorry for the
off
hold up,
like
guys.
everything.
There was just some disorganization, so we're just waiting for Coast to get in.
I made a mistake on the roster and had 41 people active basically, because I forgot.
Summoning him now.
Somebody told me they could make it even though they signed up that they couldn't, and I forgot to adjust. And then Nighthill's been having latency issues, so he was ready to go here, but had like 2k ping, offered to sit so that we can get Coast in here. So let's summon Coast, buff, and let's move.
For the delay, we need spot buffs on Coast right now. Let's get ready to pull everyone log
Yep.
in.
We're ready to go.
Get your consumables up, Coast, and we're gonna pull in 5 seconds right now.
It's fine. I'm eating. I need 7 seconds or so.
Eating too. Can't find my food. Wait, what is outside?
No, I'm not inside. They won't let me inside.
Is there too many people in?
Someone's in here still.
Not that someone's in here, it takes like a minute or so to drop the person out of the unit, so it's gonna get that big. If Knight stepped out, just give him unless of course someone who was in raid yesterday left himself in here and now he's
So is he gonna be able to get in or not?
should be able to get in unless of
Doesn't
course
look like it right now.
he's not in raid today.
Okay, we'll give it about 30 more seconds, then we'll just have to go without him. Otherwise, he can get in for Cthulhu. Nighthill's gone offline now. Now we might be able to get in.
No, I'm inside.
Alright, summon Coast.
Summon blue right now, and then we're pulling as soon as he's here.
Yep, he's good with short.
I'm here.
Alright, we're all here. Everyone knocked
Let's
out.
go.
Alright. Rage, go ahead and count down.
3, 2, 1.
So whatever tank's tanking, we'll move to that spot where Rage is. That'll be the primary spot. And we'll always orient the primary spot farthest away from the main raid. Sweep in 7.
There should be a tank. No, Pro, you're in the wrong spot. You need to be on the other side.
Squallion behind me? Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So it's the tanks that are in Pro's and Rage's position that are threading, and then it's the tank that's not threading in the healer position.
Squallion's in. I'll be out then.
Follow triangle.
I'm gonna battle res. I'll battle res.
He's got an SS. He's got an
There's an
SS.
SS.
Don't waste it.
Counterclockwise, counterclockwise.
No battle reses unless I call them.
Emergent ace.
Alright, start moving towards the middle if you can. We don't want them up on the sides.
Heals up, heals up.
Alright,
Best
I
position,
got him.
but just get in spots.
I'm moving to the far side.
That's what he.
Okay. Pros in main tank spot. This will be easy if I get knocked back. Super simple to get in again. That's one benefit to tanking on the side. It's on pro.
Things are on.
Keep heels up.
I got spun.
Pro. Heels up on
Pro
pro.
spun.
Run, run, run. You're gonna go to your left.
Alright, start moving in.
Along the wall, guys.
It's
Along
10
the wall. Don't
seconds.
stop, don't
10
stop,
seconds.
don't
Move
stop.
in now. Middle of the room. Everyone needs to be running towards the middle of the room if you can afford it. Don't run through the shit on the ground, but start moving towards the middle of the room at 10 seconds. That way by 1 second, which is now, here comes the submerge. Alright, Qualian's got that side, I'll take other.
What's his percentage?
45. Get away from Moon.
Guys, he's calling it every time.
So I gotta be 90 degrees from Rage, so you have to stay away from Square and Moon every time. There's gonna be times where we're eating Sandblast, so Krabby, you're in the wrong spot. You wanna be with the rest of the raid. Pro and Rage are gonna be 90 degrees of each other. And then whenever I get aggro, I'll move to the tank spot, which is the perfect perpendicular to the group. Run out if you have Rage, if you're not a tank. Or if you have threat.
You guys need to orient yourselves off of the star.
Yeah, submerge in 5. Alright, start moving. Submerge coming now.
Yeah, we'll definitely get the rage next time.
Yeah, so it's just go ham as soon as he pops,
To the
basically.
right, to the right.
Wait until 20 to blow your cooldowns.
We need to be in the middle for this, guys. We need to be
12
in the middle for
seconds.
this,
Alright,
guys.
move towards the middle now. 10 seconds.
Don't forget about Nature Pot.
Get towards the middle.
Watch out for
Incoming
this,
in
but get away from the
5,
walls at the same time.
4, 3. We're not in the middle of the room. Like, so we completely ignored the call to get in the middle of the room as a
Okay,
group.
let's go, let's go.
I don't fucking understand. But, Qualian's got it.
Better, keep playing.
Let's get in position for
First sweep coming.
Move to where you're supposed to be, guys. If you're a healer, get on that circle.
Pro's got it. Qualian, you can get back to backup. And I think I'm in the... I think this is the ideal tank spot right here, where Pro is. I'm shield walling. I'm spinning. It's on Shmuzme.
Can get the
That's
pads, fear them.
It's on deaths. Bubble deaths. Or there we go. Aftermore now. Keep moving. You gotta keep moving in this phase. That's very important to avoid the shit on the ground.
They don't
It's gonna
stop
keep
moving.
going, it's
They
gonna
don't
keep
stop.
going.
1%.
Keep moving, keep moving.
Keep moving away. Keep moving away.
Keep running around. The popcorn is there after the movie is over.
Try to save your bus, guys. Keep going.
Okay, pay attention. It's fine, it's fine. Pay attention to loot. And I'm gonna start talking about this next boss. It's gonna be a big, long explanation.
There's a robot
still
code.
coming.
Alright, I think they're all there.
So, listen up, guys, clear Discord. We are going to be posting the chart on Discord. If someone could take care of that for me, I'll be moving the groups around as soon as loot is out. But basically, you're going to be forming up into the groups, and you need to be spread out at all times, enough that you don't chain any of the beams. You should have your Cthulhu order for that. And when the I beam happens, you're just going to be moving to the other side of your group. So group 1's going to move to group 5, 2 to 6, 3 to 7, 4 to 8. We're going to have melee on the inside in 8 different spots, and there's 8 different little eye tentacles that spawn all the time. You got to run out and interrupt those if you're a melee, and then just burn them down. They don't have that much DPS. Range, be aware of those because you need to be 8 yards away from where they spawn in order to not chain a melee. And then there's going to be claw tentacles spawning throughout the. I don't think you have to tank them, so we can just have the range stay away from them and burn them down, but also try and keep the 8 yards at the same time. And then
Wait,
that should
the
get us-
claws you want to get a tank on, but you can have. It's important someone gets on it, even if it's a clothy, because he'll submerge and pop up somewhere else. They don't despawn; they'll just keep popping around the room. So yeah,
Okay,
the
gotcha.
big claws that pop up, you want to get someone. Yeah, you want a tank running over to it, and more importantly, you want anyone, everyone jumping on it quickly in melee range so it doesn't submerge. So ideally, there's going to be a Fury or a tank, you know, available. But sometimes I think even you want a clothy to run up and hit it.
Okay, so we need tanks on the tentacles during phase 1. So that should get us through phase 1. You're going to be able to tell which way the eye beam is going because he pauses for a couple seconds in the direction. So just clear out of the way of his actual opening of the eye, and clear far enough that you can see which way it's going, and then move around. Now, in phase 2, we're going to do a strat where we move to the entrance of the roof and we spread out along the stairs. So we're going to do full spread there, and the idea behind that is that everything is going to pop up in that kind of zone that we can control. So when it's eye tentacles, we need a, I think, Hammer of Justice rotation on that, and let me know if I'm wrong on this, but it's a good idea to have one paladin just stun it for 5 seconds and then take over with cheap shots and stuff like that until it's down.
Wait, what's that done?
The big eye tentacles that spawn.
Ones that are next to the boss.
Yeah, I
those.
don't know if they're stunnable or not, but yeah,
I
you can
thought
try
they were
picking stuff.
All of the
Like
tentacles
90%
are
sure
silent.
they're stunnable.
They are stunnable.
Yeah, there we go. So we're stunning the big eye tentacles. We need the paladins to set up a rotation. So set up something where you hit your Hammer of Justice and let people know, and then it's the next person, and the next one is, or et cetera, et cetera. Rogues are going to be following up with kidney shots when that's starting to wear off, and they should be dying by them because we're going to have basically all DPS on it. Claw tentacles would just need tanked, and they're not super huge priority. But at the same time as both the eye tentacles and the claw tentacles spawning, there's going to be the mini eye tentacles coming up still.
Hey,
So
we
what
need to
we're gonna do is
remake.
we have 6 mages, so we're going to have 3 on one side and 3 on the other. And they're just going to run over and counterspell one and start DPSing another. Because what's going to happen is when eye tentacles and claw tentacles spawn, they're going to damage the people that they're spawning on, and then the eye tentacles, the mini ones, are going to start mind flaying people, and that's how you end up losing people on phase 2 generally. So we need quick interrupts on the eyes from the mages and big DPS. They don't have that much HP, so like hit them with a fireball and then scorch them, but just keep switching targets and that kind of stuff. If it's a claw tentacle, we can have a little bit of help, so like Rogue can run over as well or something like that. But on eye tentacles, we need all DPS on those. And then when you get sucked into the stomach, there's a stacking acid or nature dot. And to damage the 2 tentacles inside.
They have to die at the same time.
No.
No.
Just have to kill one and then kill the last one.
What you do have to coordinate though inside the stomach is when you kill the last one, you want to make sure we don't have any big tentacles alive on the outside. That way we maximize focus on
Have the
the
last
vulnerability.
tentacle down to, say, 20%, and you're a DPS, you just need to call it out and wait for the signal to burn it down. Greater nature protection pots help a lot in this fight, not because of the eye beam, but also because when you're in the stomach, it's nature damage that you're taking, so you can survive a little longer by popping one of those. If you're a healer, trying to hang out there as long as you can and heal whoever's coming in.
Yeah, tanks run out instantly. You're worthless in there. A lot of melee. If there's not a healer available, don't even fuck with it. Like, just let range stick in there and do most of the damage.
You're taking.
Like melee, I think for the most part you avoid staying in there for very long.
Is loot out yet?
So we need to remake groups. Let's have everyone who's ranged, all healers and all ranged DPS, please leave the raid. You're not gonna port out of AQ. You're gonna stay right here. We're gonna leave only the melee in the raid to then distribute them evenly among the 8 groups. Each group is essentially a small squad, and that'll be in a pentagon formation. And there'll be a melee point man in each of the 8 groups. They're the top of the group. They're the one who handle the tentacle rape party. They interrupt them and kill them, and they're also on the eye during all formations.
Sorry to cut through. We need someone to post the little map on Discord.
Okay, I'll do it.
So at this point, guys, if you're not familiar with the map, you need to switch over to Discord and look at what's being posted right now. Be familiar with what the group numbers always remember that you're switching to your other side exactly when the eye happens.
So in the diagram, all you really need to look at is for group positioning in the main diagram. We're going off the big number, and we're orienting the very far right side, which is 8. That is right when you walk in. That's the way the diagram's mapped. So group 8 is going to be the group right inside the doorway. Group 1, you're going to be in the complete opposite side of the doorway, so you have to run all the way to the other side of the room on entrance.
Protoss me lead.
I didn't know I had it. Okay.
I posted the 90-degree rotation map that I made the other day also.
There you go. How, so simple. I need to save that.
Do we want to have 4 tanks for this, so that we have them evenly spread and they can pick up calls?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that then.
Okay.
We don't have Gloki, we have Poji. He can tank.
Koji, can you please put on your tank set?
I'd rather have teen
Anything
DPSing.
big, but any small claws that come up near you in phase 1 is what you're tanking.
Those claws literally die literally with one fireball. We really shouldn't have to tank them.
The big ones?
No, the small.
No, the
They
big
don't
claws in
come
phase
till
1.
phase 2. The mini claws literally do not have any HP. They should literally be killed in half a second. They should not need to be tanked.
Yeah. No, I was talking about the big ones. Yeah.
No, phase 2, yes, we would need to get a tank on them, but
Also, did we? I know Mad had mentioned a couple things that F No More had talked about priorities for warlocks on their curse, and then have we recited that yet?
Yeah, we got our assignments.
Okay, start typing plus and rate if you need to come back, and I'm going to try and distribute it properly. So, I'm going to write out these after, but right now the main melee are Shmoozby, Blua, Malthira, Teen, Galadon, Ritual, Evrona, and Death Beast. So we're going to be the ones on the inside, guys, and we're going to be all marked up. And we're going to be trying to coordinate 8 yards away from each other and going out to the eyes at the same time and interrupting them and smashing them down real quick. So what are we doing with Poji? Are we having him in
I shouldn't.
DPS gear?
Tanks shouldn't have marks on them, I don't think, right?
No, we don't need marks on tanks.
Yeah. So I have a mark. We need to mark all of them. So here, you can mark, can't you? So like Avrona's not marked. I'll do it.
Just give me
So
a second, I'm going to deal with the invite.
I'm doing marks right now. It's Avrona, Death Beast. Who's are we gonna put F Namor point on group 3?
No, we're doing Brick Roll Point. Actually, we'll do Aftermore because
He's done it.
fight.
Yeah. And then group 4, Galadon.
Sorry, I'm doing slow so I can organize as I go.
Is Galadon point in group 4?
Yeah.
Okay, you're overriding mine. I'll let you do yours then. So the second melee just chills. You're not going to be worrying about the tentacle rape party. You're not going to be meleeing the eye in phase 1. You're going to be waiting for the small ones to pop up and jump on them if they're near you. And in phase 2, once again, you're going to be waiting on the big ones and the small ones to pop up to kill them. In phase 2, the chain lightning, it comes out of the eye tentacles instead of Cthulhu, because obviously you kill Cthulhu Eye in phase 1. So in phase 2, it's the eye tentacles. We got to be on the interrupts for. I think you can interrupt chain lightning, right?
Or you can silence
You can definitely. You can do all sorts of shit. Stun them, silence, interrupt, everything.
warlocks.
So there's a specific rotation on who's ideal to interrupt and fuck with them first, and then how we want to break through that. But
Well,
Matt, are
I
you
have
here?
server muted.
is Matt in here right now? Alright, so basically we have paladins and rogues are set to stun the big tentacles when they spawn. Locks, you're death coiling the eyes every time they spawn. And you want to do pally stun and a rogue stun into being tanked for the big tentacles essentially. So ideally a paladin or a rogue, and then the other are landing stuns on the big tentacles while buying time for a tank to run over and get on it. I think the eyes, if you're juiced, are going to die too fast to tank them a lot of times. And then at phase 2, are we going to all collapse? I like that strategy. Yeah, so when we get to phase 2, we're all going to collapse to the side of the room that's on the entrance right when you walk in.
Okay, sorry, I'm missing the last 3 people. Just type a plus in guild if you need an invite.
Bro, when you talk about the side of the room, just kind of give a group number on the map so people can kind of visualize that. When you say collapse, do you mean collapse like 13 feet?
The entry area, so yeah, 8. You would collapse on 8 on the graphic. Or that side of the room.
Who's the last person? Type a plus.
We got Baikonur, Shadowlaw, and Blowg that all need a spot. Baikonur needs in. No, we're fine. I think there's enough of us that have door entrance, so we just need to get a tempt in. Now it's crucial, guys, keep cool here approaching the door. It's not funny when somebody steps out and wipes the entire raid. So if you walk into this hallway preemptively, you will wipe the raid. If you do not stand in the perfect position approaching the hallway, you will wipe the raid. So to be clear, the only person that's on the other side of the room is Laz Mirana. We like to do everybody coming in on the opposite side of the soaker. So Aptamorgan knows what he's doing. I'm fine with him over there at the start, but we'll be good enough getting into the room, or at least we have been historically, with the entire raid stacked on one side of the door. And then the soaker of the 2 chain lightnings runs in on the left side, where Laz Mirana is. So everyone orient yourself with the group that you've been placed in. Confirm which group number you are in right now, and then look at the map, and that is where you're running to. The point man in each one of your groups is the marked person. Everyone else just needs to self-orient, form a pentagon once you get in position. If you guys want to type out in party which part of the pentagon you're going to be forming, if you're going to be closer to the wall if you're a ranged person, or if you're going to be in the middle like you're a tank or a secondary melee, or if you're the point man for your party, go ahead and self-acknowledge in your party so people know who the point man is, and that's what you're orienting off. And that's it. When we run into the room, people that are volunteering to be in the back of these pentagons around the room, it's beneficial if you hug the back wall to give all the people in the middle of the room plenty of time to spread out. If you're on point running in, you have about 7 seconds to get in position, which means the people that are in group 1 on the opposite side of the room, that's enough time to get just over halfway through the room. So you can run through the black stuff kind of by the eye, and it's going to be difficult to spread out perfectly, but it's okay if we take one that chains 1 or 2. We'll be pre-potting Nature Assist, but I don't care too much about that pre-pot right now for some of us. So, you don't want me point man, you want a DPS point in group 1. Death Beast should be point man, not pro. And now I'm marked moon, that means someone else isn't marked who's a point man.
Okay, we're gonna mark.
So the points in every group you're marked, right? You guys all confirm that you have a mark on yourself. Death Beast is the point in group 1.
Okay, are we ready to do this, guys?
Alright.
Do we have the pull set out?
So the pull, just to go over the way this is going to work, the mechanics here, the first person that Eye of Cthulhu aggroes is going to get 2 lightning charges in a row, spaced out over the span of like 5-6 seconds. So Laz Mirana is going to walk out. The second we see target of target, when you see Eye of Cthulhu target Laz Mirana, you are clear to run in. So we're going to call it to alert people, but you should be queuing off the target of target trigger. It's important you have your UI set up to see that. So. Yeah, steady hand, do not fuck around and step into that doorway and wipe all of us right now. Quickly reapply your buffs and then get back on your mount and make sure you don't have your riding set on. I'm eating. We have about 15 seconds for buffs and then we're going to go in.
Side note, the black shit on the ground there looks scary, but you can run through it.
Yeah, it's nothing.
We have 3 paladins and I have light, so light needs to be king and
No, you get kings, wisdom, might, and light. You should have light. This is not a salve-sensitive fight. You should not have salve.
Done.
So whoever's doing kings will have to rebuff kings.
Okay, guys, we ready?
I still don't have kings on pro.
I mean,
I have kings. I'm good. Warriors have it. Alright, last call.
No battle reses unless I call for them.
Alright, everyone's ready. This time Laz is going to be counting it down. Make sure you have everyone Eye of Cthulhu targeted so you know when to run in. Do not go early. I'd much rather you be late.
It's literally right as soon as he targets.
Alright.
So we should be running.
Laz, count it down.
Alright, 3, 2, 1.
Do not go off the countdown. You go off when the last target of target occurs, which has not happened yet. There it is.
There.
And someone fucked it up. Alright, reset. So the countdown's probably a mistake to like, because we're used to going after someone countdowns. Everyone held, so that wasn't the issue. Not enough people went in quick enough, and Laz, the second it targets you, you gotta run down the hallway in the opposite direction of the grade.
I mean, I went that way. It's just I ran
Yeah.
forward. He didn't target because I started running back.
If you died in the hallway, you are running back. If you didn't die, we can res.
Everyone dies because I'll keep spawning on you.
Do white protection unless they have a soul stone.
I have a soul stone, but
Don't waste your B-Rose, I feel.
so the fact that
Most of us are back here. Hey, we have a warlock and most of the raid back here by the doorway.
I
What I
actually
want to
agree.
do, what we're gonna do for the next pull is we're all gonna be on one side, and
Yeah,
Laz is
I
just
agree with
Yeah.
that.
across the room.
It's
I agree
only
with that.
it's only Laz, and you don't need to run across the room. We've tested this thoroughly. His mistake was it didn't.
Across the hallway.
Oh yeah. You step into the doorway. The second target of target hits. Laz runs the opposite direction of everyone. Yeah. For the first two, and then he can feign and then enter the room.
Okay, this is a full release and run, guys. It's gonna be a long run, but we gotta do it.
I'm gonna take this soul stone, so you're all dead. But I'm sorry. What a god. Enjoy the run, boys.
Okay, it's gonna be a long run. A couple times.
Hey,
guys.
just res
We're gonna get
Ulthric.
this.
Or actually, yeah, don't use your big res. Never mind.
Thanks.
Let's not get discouraged about this, guys. We're gonna run back in there, and we're gonna get this done real quick. And by the time we know it, we're gonna be on phase 2 and pushing for kills.
Yeah, we have the comp for good attempts tonight. That's a common issue, fucking up the door entrance. A couple people's first time. But that's just simple execution mistakes right there. We can correct it pretty easily.
From what it looked like, it was a couple of people on the left side got tagged by being close to Laz when that first one went off.
Yeah. So I think some guilds are used to splitting on both doors and having the soaker run into the room, into the front. But it's easier to gain separation from everybody else. And a hunter that has Nature's Ascura that's going to feign it off and switch gear and rejoin us anyways. You just make sure that person's in group 8 right at the entrance of the doorway, which is a change we should make. So let's make sure Laz is moved into group 8.
So is Laz supposed to run into the room?
No, he's
No,
literally
it-
far left, way into BF nowhere. You don't even need to worry about
He should
Laz.
step into the doorway long enough for Cthulhu to trigger him, and then he should run into the hallway. And we're all going to be on the opposite side of the doorway. So the second he triggers, he's going to run away from us, and we're going to run into the room. And it guarantees that that lightning is too far away. And it's going to hit him the first 2 times that lightning chain casts.
By then, everyone should be super spread out.
Exactly. And we've timed it. You have at least 7 seconds to get into the room after target of target triggers. That's how long it takes for the third lightning cast to go off. So we're not going to do it on this one, but the next one or the one after, if we have another couple wipes on Cthulhu, we'll have a reward for first one back after a complete ride back. But we'll have to line everyone up, so we'll quickly regroup at the front of the entrance on our mounts and then start a race and pay rewards to the winner. It's stupid cheesy, but it's a way to pass the time while you run back.
You're not supposed to tell anybody.
There's no one really worthy of the
Whoever's in first place.
I always end up taking damage somehow.
Is it cool for us to kind of hold back on some consumables?
Yeah. This next attempt, do not go all out on consumes. We need repetitions right now.
Once we start getting into, having first phase at 25% without anyone down, then we can call for consumable use.
Yeah.
Because then we have a solid chance at getting a good phase 2 going.
Yeah, we need to prove we can get through phase 1 basically, and just get the basic mechanics of group separation on the entrance, proper pentagon formation for each group, priority on tentacle rape party by the point man onto the eye, properly handling all the other tentacles around us without clumping up and eating too many lightning chains.
It's just one of those fights where you have to be standing in the right place at the right time and pushing the right buttons at the right time. But if you know how to do it, then it's like, not that hard.
Yeah, it's a simple fight once people are used to all the mechanics.
What I do want us to do, maybe not this try, but once we're confident with getting in the door, I do want us to start pre-potting Nature Pod.
Yeah, absolutely. You can absorb a couple chains just from a Nature Resist pre-pot. And one or two people getting chained is not the end of the world. With raid buffs, you can heal through that pretty easily. It's the problem when you get more than that. It's like 1.5 multiplier. But yeah, I think everyone knows what they need to do. It's just going to be a matter of some physical repetition tonight. That's called progression, guys. This is the last progression we're going to have, until Nax drops. So,
we're literally going to be on one side. Laz is going to run straight across the door, and then we're all going to go in, and we'll be way out of range.
We've had plenty of success entering the room in the past few weeks. So I'm sure people just need to clean up a couple minor things. We'll be golden. So it's important to remind yourself of what group you're in, visualize the position you're going to be running to. If you have any questions about what part of the pentagon you're forming, ask in party. You're sticking with your party here for phase 1. And then I might want to have Efnamor chime in. In phase 2, we're only going to be fighting in half the room, right?
Yeah, basically the mages are going to be taking priority on the small eye tentacles while we interrupt and take down the big eye tentacles. But if it's a claw, we can have a little bit of help on those small guys just to minimize damage.
Yeah, and Shmoosby or whoever's lead, can we move Laz into group 8 so that way when he joins back, he's in the right spot quickly. So like you don't have to do this, but we have a hunter and Nature Resist gear tanking the first 2 chain lightnings. They do nothing. He feigns, changes gear, and then walks back into the room, and he's in group 8 right in the entry, and he's ready to go. You can also just have a tank step out and meet the first 2 and run into the room with proper spacing and some other things like that.
Do we want to put 3 healers in group 2?
No, we don't.
Try to avoid that.
Group
Yeah.
6 has a caster, I guess.
I'm getting a drink. I'll be right back.
Maybe they can Fable or Skellen.
Who's taking lead back from Master Looter?
Just give it to Laz. I mean, I have Master Looter still.
I just switched these so it doesn't bug out. Weird shit happens sometimes. And sorry, in terms of like a tentacle spawning near Pokey, is he kind of like acting like a tank, but he doesn't need to be tankier because they hit for fuck all? Or die super quick?
Everything in phase 1 should die really, really quick. The only reason you would need a tank is in phase 2 we wanted a 4th tank, but I really don't think we need it. Because literally everything in here can get 1-shotted in or 2-shotted by a mage or warlock.
Alright, sounds good. And yeah, on the small eye tentacles on phase 1 range, just toss a quick spell at them just to make things easier. We want to minimize damage in that phase as well. up, but you don't go past Moon. Stack
I
over here,
do.
guys.
I had to restart my client. I'm logging in.
You guys need to be close to Moon because we need to run in super quick and be able to spread out right away. Let's go, don't be scared. It's just a doorway. Nothing that bad will happen.
Please kill careful of shadows.
Okay, I think we just need to get Nazuazda here and then get a couple more buffs out. I'm missing King, but that's probably Nazuazda.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Go ahead and put out your free buffs. We ready to go?
Quick buffs on Nazuazda. I want full buffs on him.
Yeah, I don't want you guys wasting a bunch of consumes here. Let's just focus on repetition, execution. Do the little things right.
Let's get your mana back up and we're pulling.
Do not step into the door early.
Yeah, Laz, you're gonna count it down, and then as we see the target happen, give it literally 1 second and then move in.
But yeah, do not. The countdown from last doesn't really matter. You want a 3-second warning so that like we know it's coming, but we're not queuing off the 1. So Laz, if you just want to say like 3, 2, pause for 1, and then.
Just let him count it down. And
All
when
right.
the target happens,
That's fine.
1 second and you run in.
That's fair. We did it fine last time. All right.
You're not targeting the boom right now, do you?
You don't even need the countdown, guys. You literally just
Yeah.
watch TOT, and as soon as you see it, we need to be moving.
Okay, I think everyone's queued up, ready to go. Laz, go ahead and say something.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
There it is.
Spread fast, guys.
It's a solid door entrance.
Sorry.
boys.
Second one's coming.
Spreading.
Shmuzby. If you get your name called that it's hitting you early, it's best that you run away, like try to run towards the wall. Pretty good entrance. Get in your pentagon formations based off who your party members are. Just want to stay spread, keep your Cthulhu Warner up, everyone knows what they're doing. Plenty of room to work with here, and focus those tentacles as they pop up.
It's supposed to be south.
Just make sure you're spaced. Spacing is all that matters right now. Watch Cthulhu Warner, get on the tentacles if you see them nearby.
Tentacles need to die really fast, guys. They're really big health.
I fucking read the diagram wrong.
It's alright.
Yeah, I don't know where Shadow Lava you're at either. But
Alright, Tentacle Rape, get on 'em. Interrupt
you
those.
interrupt and kill, guys. They die really easily.
You gotta interrupt those mind plays. Pro's got a couple on them.
We rotate left very slow, guys. We need to get these tentacles down.
Yeah, they were up too long there. So keep moving away from that beam. Everybody has to move. This is where you kind of get screwy with positioning. So you got to look at your party and your mini-map. Try to stick with your party in the mini-map, and everyone's responsibility to move, kill out everything you see, and move away from I-beam.
Guys, you don't need to be moving so fast. Y'all are running.
It's slow, yeah. So see the beam on the opposite side of the room right now that's going off? That'll insta-gib you. So you have to just remain spaced, rotate around the room, while everyone does their job and tries to stick with the party. Now you can get knocked around by shit spawning. Shit will spawn under you and knock you away, and that can cause deaths. But it's imperative that we just constantly have these eyes down the tentacle raves. See, that was the best we've ever done by far. 21% on eye. I'm sorry, no, that was a big small one. 73% on eye. But that's still the best eye DPS we've done. And
Someone took the mark off my group and it like fucked.
it's just instant DPS by the whole raid on all this shit spawning up everywhere, while everyone's spaced properly. That's the essence of this. Ranged, when you don't have something nearby to kill, that's when you're on the eye in phase 1. And the point men, whenever you've killed the tentacle rape, that's when you're on the eye, obviously.
Look at Cthulhu, like how he's moving. Like, that's how we need to move. Is like you're just clicking a little bit, like
Yeah.
little choppy steps.
It's not too fast, yeah. Don't need to
If you're,
overreact.
like actually running in this, you're doing it wrong. You should literally just be tapping your key.
And you're watching party. So like I'm looking at my party and we all died on almost all 4 corners of the room practically. But you want to stick with your party in the mini map. That's what those little dots are for.
I think for multiple bounces from tentacles are possible though.
Like
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it happened to me too. I got popped up by a claw tentacle into an eye tentacle.
Will be a wipe, guys, but you know, let's just look at the mechanic.
Yeah, 60% on the eye. That's fine. Like if we just master the basics here, it's not hard. They do not have a lot of health. We're doing fine. They're level 59 and 60.
We could continue to run back.
Yeah, but this time we'll do a race just to break the monotony. So once you zone in, stay at the front if you want to get a prize. We'll give the winner like
Okay.
5 or 6 cores or something. I don't know, we'll give you like 30 or 40 gold, whoever wins. Yeah, you just gotta send you gotta invoice Guild Bank, man.
Okay, I understand we want to keep it light, but I'm going to start talking more about what just happened there.
Go ahead.
So, what I noticed was the melee was out of position. Part of it was my fault too. I went to the wrong side. Couldn't read the fucking diagram properly. Yada yada yada. But you know, we need to look at who we're supposed to be beside. So I was supposed to be with who? It looks like
Lua.
Blua and it was Blua and Teen. Or no, Blua to my left, and then it would have been Death Beast to my right.
Right, and you're to my right, and Maldira is to my left. I'm blue.
So yeah, it's basically you look at the groups and you look who's your left and your right, and that's who you're supposed to be beside. So again, the primary melee are Death's Beast, Verona, Ethnamore.
I think they did good. I think they were fine.
No, we weren't in the right spots.
Okay.
Thor is on the right in that picture, right?
Blua
Look at the
and
correct
Foosby.
90-degree angle picture.
You're in the right spot, Verona.
Alright, once everyone's alive, we're gonna run back if you're racing. So we haven't started
Not
yet.
a main melee.
Gotta wait for everyone to zone in.
Melee that I called out, then you need to not be in. So like Rick, you're not in. Any of the warriors that I didn't call your name, you're not in. You just need to be positioned in your spots where you're not chaining anyone, but away from the eyes and stuff like that.
Alright, Vlad, Greenscanes, Schmooze, we were waiting on you to log in. Vlad and Green. So we gotta be quicker to run back after we've wiped, guys. We got people that still haven't come back. Alright, here we go. If no one's fucking competing, fuck it. This is fucking stupid.
I'll race.
Yeah, we're just trying to get this done.
Too early. We weren't burnt out yet.
Dark Glare, if you
Too early.
So I start the race. Okay, fuck this race stuff. Listen up. If I fucking start on the south side, I'm running to the north side after the Dark Glare, but around in the rotation that he's going. So if you're southeast, you're going to northwest. And if you're west, you're going east.
You end up on the opposite side of the room by the time the glare's over, is what you're saying.
Not running, not below.
Yeah. You're moving with your group into that position.
Just that.
That's a good way of explaining it. We have confirmation, right, that the glare lasts half a room of rotation?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, and also I know that you can see when the glare is coming by the animation of the eye, if it's going to be pointing at you whenever it goes off. Because it'll instant kill you if it starts on you.
Yeah. How do you know where that glare is going to start? Does it spawn right on?
The animation of the eye, you can see it, and I think there's a prompt.
It also, if you have big legs, it'll tell you if it's targeting you.
Read what Ragemon just said. When he's doing the big eye beam, he's not doing the green beam that chain. So you can just run to where you're supposed to be after and stay there.
No, big eye, I got it. If it's right away, it's spawn right on the right? So they're like letting you know where that first beam is going to hit when it spawns.
Yeah, he goes a little crazy and then his eye stays in the same position for a couple seconds before it starts.
You gotta just be wary of when he starts the dark fire and if people are leaving their eye tentacles and then it messes up.
Oh, so yeah, he doesn't chain lightning whenever the death beam's going on.
Yeah, 'cause the thing moves slow enough to just, I would say prioritize killing the eye tentacles before you do the
Those are always the priority. Those things should not be up.
So Rage was saying you can after that eye beam goes off, you can legit run over to your spot and then wait. That's probably the cleanest thing, so that everyone just moves to the right position during the start of the beam.
So Krabby, so for our group, the one that I'm in, our mark player died like immediately to one of the eye beams.
From just one?
You shouldn't need
Well,
a mark
not
player
entirely.
though. Just pay attention to where your group is supposed to be and go there.
Yeah, you're sticking with your group more than anything, because you know where you're starting.
The diagram in Discord and you're just
Yeah, you know where you're starting, and you know that you're going to move to half the room, and you're going to avoid the beam who's going to be moving in one direction, and it's random, right? So whichever direction the beam goes off on, you're going to then use that to dictate your approach to the other side of the room by not running through that thing. But you don't have to do it so fast that we stop killing all the ads around us and shit. It's not the end of the world either, because I think if the clops pop up and no one's around them, they'll submerge and pop up somewhere else. And so it's not a horrible deal if we're transitioning and someone's not covering one of the claws in a corner or something like that. But the tentacle rape needs to be handled immediately every time. And when I say the tentacle rape, that's the trigger that Big Wigs is giving you, and those are all the guys that the appointment are on. So all the range should make sure those go down. Yeah, that's a good point by Rage. The tentacle rape spawns, like, those need to be dying instantly because you know where they are. Range is putting in a lot of the work on the eyes, since it's a lot quicker to just tab and cast a, ability than for melee to run all the way over there.
Is there any way to turn off auto marking and stuff because the melee are losing their marks?
That might be me doing it. Let me check.
Big Wig's doing that.
Man, the design of this instance really is shit, huh?
Well,
It's progression.
There is a teleporter, but it's not in the game.
So in Discord and public, Krabby linked this Cthulhu. That's where we go, right? 1, 2, 3 are in there, 4, 5, 6 are in there, and 7 and 8 stay out. Is that
No,
right?
That's a screenshot from the video.
Do not run into the doorway when you approach the room.
We're having hallway groups and we're not. Screenshot from the video.
We're not having issue entering a room. It's just whenever the dark glaze comes, everyone's
No.
getting disoriented.
I didn't know where I was supposed to stand though, because I was looking at
There's
this.
a diagram in Discord. You're in group 3. Check the Discord diagram.
In the
That's what I'm trying to find that.
So I turned off my place rate icons.
Trailblazer and by Tuxedo.
Flex one's the one you're looking at.
Okay.
If you're group
fuck.
3, you're top left.
I was looking at Krabby one too. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so
No,
everyone
that's
in-
the
everyone
screenshot
should be
from the
discussing within your party which relative position you're going to be in your party. So check your party chat, make sure you guys sort out who's in
Big number. That's all that matters, yeah. So,
There you go. It's gone.
so
I'm
8...
not looking at that one anymore.
Thank you. I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Alright, NOS channel. Everyone sees it. Hopefully everyone has Discord membership. PM Pro or Laz on Discord if you don't have a member and you can't see the announcement channel and the other shit.
Okay, get full buffs out, guys.
So, Efnamore confirmed a big thing about Phase 2 is making sure everyone moves us to over to the same half of the room. Basically, having one person in the back spawning a large eye or something is very bad. And then, we'll have a left and right side tank to handle the large ones whenever you're on half the room. So it'll be me and Pro, or I'm sorry, me and Rage.
Okay, get buffs out, guys. Call if you're missing anything. Let's do a final check on buffs and pull in like 20 seconds.
So Rage, when it comes down to the half of the room, we'll be on this oriented like we're entering. I'll take the right side. You can take the left side.
So again, guys, let's not waste too many consumables. Let's try and get phase 1 to say 25% with not too many people down, and then we can use them.
Okay, hold on that pole another 10 seconds, please.
Let's get summons on Big Poppy and Fizzling.
Ty Umber, be careful right there. Just you're approaching no man's land in terms of wiping us.
Alright, this is in now.
Target me if you want C done for a target.
Line of sight on Cthulhu is fucking huge, and it really sucks if you wipe the raid right now. Alright, so I have Kings and Might, and I have Fort, and I have Wild. That's about all I can expect, so we look good right now. Everyone's got mostly full mana. Go ahead and press yourself up against the wall if you're ready.
Let's call for buffs.
Everyone knows what group they're in. We moved a person to move Laz into group 8. Take note of what group you're in compared to the diagram in Discord. Make sure you know where you're running. If you have any question who's point man in your party or who you're anchoring on, if you're in the front or middle or back in the pentagon formation, say it in party, figure it out.
Remember, if you're not marked, then you're not inside, and you're not near the ice in chaining people.
Okay, I think most people are ready. Laz, go ahead and do your thing.
Pulling in 3,
Target.
2, 1.
Go. I fucked up and I wasn't mounted for the entrance.
Move over deaths. Rick, move out.
Bro, you wanna switch to your
That's
left above?
yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Let's go and keep turning around because the tentacle.
Full narrow, scoot over to your left so Pro can take your spot.
Tentacles in 10.
Yeah, Vaughn swap with me basically. I should be staying there and you can be. That's fine.
Third layer now.
Rick, move. That's why you don't stand here, because you chain me when I get out.
So we should be
These eye tentacles, Pro's eye tentacle didn't get touched. There we go.
The groups aren't moving.
Alright. Just slow down, don't stack. You can stack because the beam's out. So just move into the opposite side of the room basically, but avoid the beam. Keep
Rick,
killing
move
everything.
out.
Don't worry about spacing. Kill. Alright.
Yeah, yeah.
Glare ends in 10 seconds, so make sure you're now on the opposite side. Opposite side of where you started, you are now orienting. Beam's coming in 1 second. Beam, Maldira, Galagon. Rape party is up right now.
Yeah, let's tentacle goes fast.
Sousa.
Point man. Got one shot.
Bike. Rage. So deaths, like you didn't break off. We have an eye up over here, and you're on Cthulhu. So like the pointmen, you guys are the primaries responsible for the rape, the tentacle rapes,
Rick, you're in the wrong spot.
the little ones. Yeah, so we're at the opposite half of the room right now until this next beam goes off.
Yeah, Rick, you'd be on the other side.
So yeah, whenever the first eye beam goes off, that big thing, that red thing coming out of Cthulhu right now, when that goes off, everyone has to swap to the opposite side of the room. And it's okay at the pace you do. You don't have to sprint there. You kill all the tentacles around you because there won't be chain lightnings. Yeah. You got plenty of time.
No, it doesn't move in the same direction.
So now we're back to where we started. Every time this I-beam goes off that one-shots people, you move to the opposite side of the room and reform your position and kill all the tentacles popping up. And besides ranged, pointmen, you're the only melee that are on the eye, except for when these raid parties pop up. These little Eye of Cthuns, all of them that just spawned, you have to interrupt them and kill them. And you guys have to get off of them. Like right now, we still have deaths. I still show Meldira. Like, you guys are responsible for these eye tentacles now.
Can't you silence them?
Yes.
So,
Seems to be a bit
I was reading, like, it was like warlocks, shadow priests, like there's like 3 or 4 classes that have to be, like, your job is to like get on them and shut them down so they're not blasting people.
Yeah.
Warlocks don't have an interrupt without a pet.
Alright, well, we got more tries in here. So, like, right here, these eye tentacles, they spawn in the same spot every time. Is there 8 of them?
Be feared?
No, they cannot.
You can stun them. You can silence them. But, like, we have a timer on them. Like, the guys that are pointmen, you need to be exactly there when it pops up and kill that shit. You start with a stun, no matter what, or an interrupt, and then go on them. Ideally, like, some guilds have had their like warriors spec in improved shield bash, and rogues even improved kick.
Just noticed trying to pummel it, you have to be in like an awkward position. Like,
So release and run. Another.
Hey guys, if I may, it looks like when the eye beam of death kind of starts coming, we're not knowing exactly where we're supposed to end up.
Yeah.
Until the second happens. So everybody can just look at the map before we start. Just look at where you're going as we run in. Look at where you're going to be at the end of the first eye beam phase as well. So you can idea of where you need to.
So
a lot of people converge on the same spot.
I wanna, yeah. I'll explain from my group's point of view what's going on. So I'm in group 1. Okay. So my point man in group 1, I think we have it as Death Beasts. So on the orientation on this map that we have in Discord, group 1 is up at the top. That's the opposite side of the entrance. So we have to run all the way across the room. And then Death Beast is that yellow circle at the pentagon closest to the middle. And where he's standing is where the tentacle, the eye tentacles spawn every time. He's first one responsible for that. And then there's that yellow line with him moving into the eye. That's because he's secondarily responsible for Eye of Cthulhu in Phase 1. In Phase 2, he doesn't even fuck with that because it's invulnerable. You have to wait for the vulnerable phases. So Phase 1, a mistake we're making is the pointmen were ignoring the eyes that spawn every time that are at the actual point of their pentagon that we're forming on. So you guys bounce back and forth depending on your raid timer of when those things pop.
You should preempt that as opposed to DPS.
As for the groups, you have a fuck ton of room. Like you have plenty of room. And whenever that eye beam goes off, it's going to move in a random direction. Cthulhu stops doing chain lightnings, so you can ignore your Cthulhu Warner and you can all clump up moving somewhere. And then it's going to slowly move exactly half the room in one direction. So what we do with the groups is, everybody just moves to the opposite side of where you were supposed to be standing, and you bounce back and forth. So as group 1, I was in the far side of the room, I now moved to the entrance. The group that's right inside the entrance.
Yeah, that's group 8. Then 2 goes to 7, 4 to
Exactly.
5, 3 to 6.
You just move across the room in the opposite direction, and you can do it slowly because that thing's slow, and you just really want to focus on killing all the spawns. And for the most part, pointmen, you...
Guessing any claws that they see. Like if you're near a claw, just pop it off real quick. Don't
Yeah.
worry about trying to burn too hard this phase because it's a survivable phase for everyone as long as you're in the right spot.
Exactly. No,
It's all about positioning and controlling mechanics. It's not about
exactly. There's no need to think that you need to burst the eye, especially in Phase 1. So it's all about keeping everything else around you from killing you, killing it quickly. So the assignments, once again, I saw multiple point men not doing this. You guys have to be on the small eyes that spawn, and then you go back on the eye and for Phase 1. And every time that spawn's coming, you're the primary responsible for it. People in the middle of the pentagon, like the secondary melee in a group, or tanks wherever you are in Phase 1, you pretty much help throw in an interrupt if needed on the eyes that spawn every time, but you're going to be farther back in picking up any of the claws that pop up. And don't roam too far and everyone watches their party, and it's easy. We have a lot of priests. If you guys want to just randomly bubble a bunch of people on the entrance, that helps too, probably.
So when the giant lasers come out, we have to just try to focus a little more on not moving as fast. Like if you're passing another group, then you're obviously not moving way too fucking fast. And we like where your point man is, you have to stay with him. Like we just move a little bit because like we're a clock, just everyone slowly rotating.
Well, why do we have to move slow and stay in position? If there's no chain beam, why can't we just essentially head straight to the position if there's no eyes up in our group?
You can.
Yeah, that's kind of what we should do.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can run there quickly. I'm sorry. We shouldn't have let that go out.
Well, the only thing is you have to focus the eyes.
Yeah. Everyone, you maintain your responsibility, exactly, and then you move.
Keep your position. You just have to end up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a balance between taking down the eyes and getting to your position. If you can get to your position and take down the eyes, that's fine. If you can walk slowly, take down the eyes, that's fine. If you can do a mixture of both, that's fine. Just take down the eyes and get to your position before the beam stops. That's all that matters.
Make sure you're in your spot though when the beam starts.
Now I'm not sure on the exact timer syncs up if when the beam starts, if there's going to be an eye spawn, or how far into the beam spawning that the eyes generally pop. I don't know if anyone knows what the timing is, if it's consistent, or what the range is.
Is the beam doing a complete circle, or is
It goes 108, yeah, half the room. It starts somewhere, and then it moves in one direction to the other side.
Yeah, don't say too much on Discord during the fight. Just know where you're supposed to be. Like,
yeah.
That image posted in Discord is pink. That's the key to this fight, so just know where you're supposed to be at all times.
And so to explain the graphic, yeah, if you look closely, the melee are yellow, the ranged are green. So basically you've your ranged on the sides or the back of these pentagons. And the healers dispersed as well in the middles and sides. You have a lot of room to work with. So like the exact formation of the pentagon, it's not crucial, dude. You just have to know who's the point man and who's the 4 people spacing out in his little section behind him. And then you'll start to familiarize where the eye spawns exactly. And the point men will all have their timers ready. They'll be anticipating those eyes spawning, throw an interrupt into it, burst it down, and then move back onto the Cthulhu eye.
And when the beam happens, guys, like, go after ads. Just stay away from the beam, obviously, number 1, but get at the ads down and then move to your spot right there.
And you don't really need a tank on the little eyes that pop if you have a ranged and a good point man, you know, on the eye that's spawning. It should die really quick. They have like 5k health or 10k health.
Just a quick question. Does the death beam change like clockwise, counterclockwise each time, or is it just completely random?
I think it's random. It can do either, but it might change. I'm not sure.
I mean, that doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, Efnamore might know, but
Clockwise or counterclockwise, as long as you're not running into it, you can just quickly
yeah, the beam just dictates which way you take sometimes to move across the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And you bounce back and forth each beam.
Okay, start getting full buffs out, guys. We should all be here.
Well, you are though. You can't run counterclockwise or else it's just like if it's going
But you
clockwise,
could
because
also
then you'll
just
run.
quickly cut through the middle, pretty much.
Don't get people into that habit. Let people understand the fight before we start.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how fast you get over there because you have the entire length of the beam duration to make the swap. So for now, while people are still getting used to the swap, don't like direct line it over to the opposite side. You can basically do that, but just roam around, make sure everything's down nearby you, make sure there's not a timer on Tentacle Rape Party about to pop up on you, and It's honestly a break, as long as people don't get hit by the beam initially when it pops up. Everyone just needs to be killing everything around them as priority.
Okay, who are we missing? We need to be quick on these run back guys.
Warlocks have been trading up, getting shards.
Yes, we're already in an hour and 20 in. We're almost at the halfway point, so let's make sure we get a lot more of these reps in.
Yeah,
I'm going the wrong way.
Guys, on this first phase, it's always going to be ads are priority no matter what we're doing. Ads are always a priority.
Wait, that wasn't the wrong way. Never mind. Yeah, that was definitely the wrong way. At least Green Gains believe me.
Oh, rip, you're running.
We're good now.
Yeah, so the eyes that spawn on a cooldown, the 8 of them, or however many of them there are that spawn around, they should dive extremely quick. The point person and one of the group's range should put 3 seconds of DPS into it and it'd be down.
Okay, we waiting on anyone else?
KGT's here. Can KGT get buffs?
Buffs on KGT and Wallaby.
Portal, please.
Okay, get buffs up. 20-second warning.
Eat some like cheap food or something if you have some affordable stuff. I'm chewing on tender wolf steak. Make sure we get the execution of the entrance, the basic group formation. All the damage being done to us is most likely the spawning shit around us, or people not spacing properly in the right phase. Try to pay attention here. We'll call out when the beam's coming. Watch the eye, and you can identify where the beam's going to start from.
Okay guys, if you're marked, make sure you're ready for the eye spawns. If you're not marked, make sure you're staying away from the boss and away from the eyes. I think we're about ready. Let's give it another 5 seconds on mana and then last count us in.
Do not go early. Do not step into that doorway and wipe us. Full stats.
Count us in.
Alright, go ahead.
3, 2, 1.
Start of random beeps. Vlad. Vlad again. Quellion. Vlad. Vlad. Deaths. Keep Deaths up. Beautiful.
You don't have to call all the beams.
Yeah. I was counting the first few for emphasis, but we're good. I'll shut up. Rate party in 7 seconds. Tentacles in 3 seconds. Alright, tentacles. Glare one-shot me. I wasn't paying attention to the formation. Can we get a res on pro? B-res me. When you get a second shadow law, I'm right in front of you. B-res, please.
Try to reset your position.
Yep. We're doing great. Very little shit up. I just walked right out of KGT.
I got knocked in by the tentacle.
Yeah. No, I just saw you standing there when I looked. That was funny. Great party. Tentacles down.
Spirit Warriors mixture doors up.
Tina, I think you're too far over.
Alright, beam and tentacles coming in 1 second. Get ready. Primaries, get on the tentacles.
Gonna go to the right.
Back to your original position, guys. That's
You can stack here. It's okay. Just get the other shit on that. Get everything down. Glare ends in 15 seconds and the chain lightning start again. So we're all back on our initial spot. Upon entering the room. Glare ends in 3 seconds. Rape party. So I'm throwing an interrupt into one, then you're just tanking it until it goes down. You can stun them too. Use the concussion blow. Try not to stack while you kill these. Just chained on death tonight, but we're fine. So 2 can stack. It's not going to kill you. With good heal, it's like, it's okay if you and another person are right next to each other, but just don't let it be more than that. Here comes the glare. You see it. I was way late moving again. I'm so bad.
You guys are moving the wrong way, by the way.
To the right.
To the right. Counterclockwise.
Yeah, it's hard to see from the opposite side of the eye sometimes which way it's moving.
The green tack. It's like 1 or 2 shot.
And before the eye goes off, some people are going to be scrambling to get on the, get away from where it's going to go off at. So you might go in the wrong, direction by accident. All right, glare ends, chain lightnings, cleavable. Rape party coming in 3 seconds. Tentacles popping.
Kill the eyes.
The root to the eye tentacles are biased or called the root is.
God, he hates me.
Dark glare coming in 1 second. Get ready for the animation. Here it goes. It's pointing somewhere. Get away from where it's pointing. Rape party coming in 2 seconds. Eyes are popping in 1 second. Get ready for eyes. No chain lightning except for the eyes doing mind play. Is that a mind play or chain lightning the eyes do? Yeah. Still try to go ahead and move over to your position, and you're orienting to the other half of the room, not letting this thing kill you. So we need to make a better emphasis. I'll shut up on the other stuff. We need to talk about when that beam's coming out so people know when to look at the Cthulhu and be ready for the animation to know if you have to run or not.
I don't know, there's like bigwig should put this big ass symbol right in front of your face.
Tentacles.
That's the wrong tentacle. You gotta get the tentacle moved. The big thing is our positions are a little bit off, so people get shifted over one side. People will miss them. Also not going out really early enough.
At 29% though, not bad. So let's reset quickly. It's time for more real attempts, so everybody stop healing. Let's wipe it. Everyone get back as fast as possible.
I'm gonna eat this dark glare like a fucking bitch.
I know it sucks. Try not to go AFK. Also, when you do zone in, if you need to, just follow somebody else that you trust once you get on your bug mountain. They don't take damage. If you gotta do a break, but do it responsibly. We can't slow down for people.
Yeah, I expect no AFKs right now. To get as many attempts as possible.
That was pretty good though for a consistent amount of time. We have people just falling off kind of randomly for a lot of different reasons.
So something weird was happening to me, like on the eyes. I would cast silence on them, and they would, you know, stop doing their thing, whatever. But when I would cast mind flay on them, I would just retarget Cthulhu and mind flay Cthulhu.
Maybe he was dead. I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't matter because those things die instantly almost.
Yeah, you don't even want to Shadow Word Paint it. It's not worth the mana. Those, yeah.
But I don't know if that's anybody else's experience. I just like redirecting my spells back at Cthulhu instead of the eye.
Maybe Cthulhu is just like, really? There's a fucking Shadow Priest in here?
Maybe your mind flay stack weirdly.
I still don't see. Never mind.
Okay, this is a team effort, guys, so we need to all
Yeah.
be running back in. I don't want to have any like super late summons this time.
So I don't.
Get these attempts and super quick individual lock out.
That's fair.
Do you have the repair buff? I mean, I'll get paid for this.
I'd say we got 2 more attempts before needing it.
Blue's gonna need a second.
Yeah, go get one if we don't have one on one of us. I don't have mine.
I got 2.
Thank you. Do you have it on you?
Yes, I have them on me.
What a boss.
If you put someone on follow.
You should spend that money on ingots though, so you can build that. So you know.
Susan, why are you so excited?
That
Sounds so excited
orange
about
thing
that
we
much
gave
money.
you. Why are you wasting gold on shit other than orange shit?
Should I farm?
Yeah, not gonna lie, he probably makes more money off of me bringing those to raids than a lot of people make in a day. 'Cause I buy them every time to put them down.
Yeah, you guys do need to repair before you come if people need a repair bot anytime soon. That's fair. I mean, we call it every single fucking time. We leave any final destination as a raid with our buffs to repair.
So guys, just think about like where you start out, and then you're gonna go across the room,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna go back to where you started out. Like you're gonna be in 2 spots, and that's it. Like variations from people are doing certain tentacles and shit like that. But you have 2, so like I'm going from one side of the room and then to the other side.
I think 95% of the people get that now, so it's just now we got to get some real attempts in with good execution there. We lost a lot of people just trickling off throughout the fight for a lot of different reasons, so just executing and make sure the spacing is right and that we're killing these tentacles and claws as fast as possible. That's big. The point men were perfect there. Not yet. Let's do one more. I want to get into phase 2 without any tryhard buffs. Like, it's just execution. There's 0 reason that we shouldn't be able to get phase 2 without expending any expensive buffs at this point. I blow hundreds of gold each week on consumables, and I'll tell you guys when to be smart with it here. And I'm not discouraging. I don't have any money, but I don't want to discourage people from trying hard here because that's what we're doing. But we all have good gear, and it's unnecessary to think that we need to improve anything other than execution to get into phase 2 on this fight.
Once again, melee, I mean, I'm not trying to call it a little earlier this time, but you shouldn't be running to the eye tentacles from the spawn, you should be there at the spawn. And, make sure you're not at a redundant one.
Yeah, everything's so easy to kill. Like, we don't even have world buffs or any other serious buffs right now, and we're killing stuff very quick. Like what Teen said, don't be a hero. You're just going to chain an I-beam.
So where's the best buff to someone, like, right on the roll bar down? Out of attack range between,
I don't even think you want 2 melee on the same little ones.
oh no, I'm just talking about trying to preemptively get before the spawn.
It doesn't really. I mean, it's easy to space out, and you don't have to have a perfect pentagon formation. But bottom line is, you know, space out in as best of a square as you can with everyone who's not a point man. I don't care. I mean, it's a balance. It's hard to explain. But it's a pretty big difference. Like if you have Warner on right now, that's all that matters is that you're just not chaining lightning. So the groups don't have to be perfect. It's more of a concept. But it's easy because if you're not point man, you just look at what corner of the square you're in and then flip sides every time. I think one thing to do is when we're flipping sides, we might be ignoring some of the shit around us. That's when you have a bunch of time to recover and make sure every single claw, any rape parties that spawn die instantly, because you don't have to worry about stacking. So we do have at least one side that seems to still be struggling with their eyes spawning. So the point man, we chose people to play point on these positions, and we're marking you because we trust you to do the right mechanics that we're at least asking for. If you know better, please say something. Otherwise, I need you guys to focus on shifting to those eyes. You need to have your proper bigwigs, update applied. You can see when it's coming. They spawn in the same spot every time, and you're pretty much the only melee responsible for that thing. So. Rotating away from the glare, you only need to focus on that really when we know the glare is coming to make sure you don't get zapped by it the second it comes out. Besides that, it moves so slow, it's like a non-issue. But yeah, the eyes on the mind flay I think is killing a lot of people off. So we need to improve both killing them quickly, but also interrupting them so that they're not casting those. So we didn't make a big deal out of it, but I'm going to heavily encourage our tanks while we're on Cthulhu progression to spec into improved shield bash. Gives me a 3-second silence. I forgot what improved kick is, but it's similar.
Okay, start getting buffs out, guys.
Also, it's not the end of the world if two people chain together. So when an eye spawns, if a tank's there, I'm cool if you guys run up to throw a shield slam or a concussion blow on the rape party that spawns. I don't know why the fuck they called it that on bigwigs. We need more buffs. I have 0 at the moment, so we don't have to get in position at the doorway while we buff, just so people are comfortable and spaced out a little bit. We can step back a tiny bit. Okay, let's get everyone summoned here, logged in, ready for another good buff. We have about half the time left in the raid right now. Hour and 20 minutes approximately. So we're going to shut up for the most part, especially me, and I want people to be calling out something they see wrong in a calm and clear, concise manner. Besides that, let's everyone focus on what you're doing and maintain discipline, comms. When we hit phase 2, everyone is collapsing onto the side of the room that we're running into, what I call like the near side to the door, to the entrance. Then we kind of consume that half of the side into 2 groups, and we'll essentially do, I don't know how we want to dictate when we group up onto that half who's on which side. We can play it by feel, but I guess for now, until we start taking it more serious if necessary. Rage and I will be tanking on opposite sides of that half of the room though in phase 2. Alright, is everyone logged in? They're zoned in? I don't see anyone on the map. Is everyone summoned? Check your buffs. Let's get everything up that's free. Use some cheap food if you have it. Let's get Noshia at full mana. Do not step into the door. Don't be an asshole. This is not a salve fight. You do not need salve. We have paladins intentionally doing other buffs. Threat does not matter this entire fight. Tanks really don't do a lot. To be frank, this fight is not about the tanks. It's about everyone executing their focuses and positioning perfectly. And it's simple once you get that down.
Okay, we're good to go. We're gonna count it in pretty soon. Laz, give us 5 seconds.
We're assuming you're not ready unless you're pressed up against the wall, ready to go. So it's a symbol of AFK if you're not.
2, 1.
Alright, random beam 1 second. And like, be smart. So yeah, like if a claw spawns where you were standing, and a tank can switch with you, and we can resume a different position. It's very simple. Here comes the glare. Get ready for eye. There it is.
Nice interrupts.
Remember, no beams here. Just got to get the mind flays down. There's one on the opposite side of the room. Mind flaying F no more, fucking him up. We got to get someone on the opposite side of the room behind that beam. Got plenty of time, no chains yet. Get into your new positions now on the opposite side.
Well, there you're gonna want to be a little bit more. Yeah, that's good.
Here comes glute tentacles. Dark Clear coming.
Go clockwise again.
You have plenty of time to kill shit that's up and move into position. 23 seconds to be exact. And the priority of the eyes more than anything. Let a tank grab on another thing. So now you're back to your original spot. Glare ends in 5 seconds.
Last Morgulor in a little bit. Take phase.
Sousa and Toxin try to heal Elf and Rage, both their healers are dead. So Toxin like run up and heal Elf more a little bit, thank you. And Rage.
We have 16 seconds until Glare.
Make sure when you move for the glare, you don't neglect your tentacles that are coming up 5 seconds after.
Yeah, that's important for us to get those down quickly. Glare in 3 seconds. Get ready for it. Tentacles coming 5. There's the glare. Tentacles coming in 2. Dodge the beam. Get ready for tentacles. There they are.
Interrupts, guys. Kill 'em.
I tried to do it.
Interrupt.
I was on the other side of the laser.
mean to interrupt these guys. Just one straight up over here, just blasting people. I'm trying. Fuck.
Yeah. So that's definitely a weakness of us so far, is the eyes that are up during the transition that are hard to get to because where the beam pops. Alright, we're out of it. Chains are starting. Tentacles coming in 1. Get ready for tentacles.
You're right.
Yeah.
What? No, other way.
I was alive.
No, you were. You were just over to the right.
Alright, best one yet, 25%. So I think we're ready to do full buffs. People can start using consumes on this next one. It's important we get some phase 2 practice, in my opinion. Got them down to 20% here, you know. It seems to be the biggest raid damage that I'm seeing, at least, and we already discussed it, is when the beam comes out. Whichever eyes are on like both sides of that new beam oftentimes don't get killed because everybody's focused on rotating or avoiding that beam, and then those eyes get a long mind play off and just nuke people down. Besides that, it seems like the claws are very easy to deal with.
Ranged people on the opposite side of that should be able to just get closer to like Cthulhu himself and shoot the ice
Yeah.
beam though, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's something that range are responsible for, because those things die really fast on that timing. So they can be a little bit closer.
Well, you can't get too close because if you burn in the middle, he'll throw you off. But
Yeah.
if you're in the black shit,
You can take a shortcut across the room. Like, yeah, you don't have to rotate it like at the end of the wheel. But yeah, that's a good point. That makes the most sense, and they die so fast. Melee are taking care of most of the ones that didn't have to dodge the beam coming out. You know. Yeah, sorry, I fucking sitting here talking didn't release. Let's get everybody back in the room and ready to go as fast as possible.
Not 100% sure, but I think
we really need to focus on ads, guys. Let's get into Fangers mentality. Like if you see an ad up, it doesn't matter what kind of melee you get for, as long as you're not a melee that has to run chain shit, just get on ads. Like let's just try and get through phase 1. Doesn't matter what we have to do about it.
I think we have some people that might not have CTW installed. Can someone link the exact file in Discord right now? I'm gonna look for mine. We had a CTW version we standardize on. Yeah, it's common sense, but there's an add-on you enable that gives you a list of everyone that you're standing too close to, and it plays an audible being in your ear every time you stand too close to somebody.
I don't understand how you wouldn't have that add-on by now.
Yeah, it's unacceptable at this point. But we do have some brand new people that we'd introduce, so I want to make sure everybody has it. Better to be
There are
thorough.
a lot of new members that haven't been here for months. That most of it all.
So again, guys, when it's a dark flare, it's all ads down. So if you see the dark flare coming, you got to watch out for tentacles spawning, and you got to focus on them.
Just a little thing, guys. I've noticed that when the I-beam phase starts, we are not killing the one that is right on top of I-beam. It's just kind of sitting there mind playing people because melee can't get close enough. So range, if you want to focus on those ones in that area that are on the I-beam first, that'll help. I think that switch.
Also, I was reading like engineers give arcane bombs. I think they are within 5 seconds.
That's the big tentacles, and we don't want to be using those until we have this down.
Hey Schmoozby, let's change marks to the one we have that that graphic for that I just put. It's a slightly modified one for people that have some form of elementary spatial awareness. And don't need the map reoriented for them.
Is that in Photoshop?
We just need to make sure that people don't pay attention to those numbers.
Yeah, good point. I was just telling Schmoozby to use the marks like that. And that way we can develop consistency in terms of the marks for every anchor at each group.
Just need someone to rotate it.
You can get on that stat.
Do we want to balls out consume on this attempt because it's our last one? Was
Yes. Yes. We're going to be using consumes. Yeah, ignore the numbers, basically. If they're different than ours, but...
The marks are different for the appointment.
We could just change the mark.
Yeah, that's what I want to change. Because then we have a graphic and we can standardize on this for the new marks before we settle into something.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I want to change the marks on the appointment to match that diagram. Doesn't matter, but it's just something that we can standardize on.
I think if we want to get the group set, it might be a good idea to like screenshot who's in which group. That way, like the next time we do this, you can have them in the same group.
Let's get DCO. He's available. I think he's still here. Or it's first come first serve. I don't know if DCO's here.
Like he's available if you need to do it, but I'd rather somebody else that's been waiting longer than me.
I had QR, flash sticks, and deco, and the reserves can start it.
TCO's ready.
TCO's ready.
Yeah, bring him. He deserves a spot. He hasn't gotten in this week.
I could text Chewer if he doesn't. TCO's not.
He's logging on right now. We're just talking in Hunter chat.
Okay, so we want to do a full try hard try on this one.
Yeah.
We should have to defend
We're not all grouped back yet.
Okay, we gotta get there super quick then. So we can get phase down. Phase 1 down in 5 minutes.
Which of the phases is easier, 1 or 2?
Let's just say
One is easier. Primarily because there's no coordination in one between people inside the belly of Cthulhu and outside fighting different things. That's not the hard part.
Tentacle damage while getting knocked back and slowed.
Yeah.
That's usually what kills people.
You get hamstrung by the melee tentacles, and then you got to be there to interrupt and fuck up the eye tentacles. And in phase 2, all of the eye tentacles that spawn do chain lightning. So instead of Cthulhu doing it, the eyes that spawn do it.
Anything remove hamstring?
Freedoms.
Can you start calling for summons if you're we're close to Cthulhu's room? We need to start getting this going quickly. Get your full consumables out, and then we're gonna buff up as soon as we get here.
Yeah, I'm just now making it past Twins' room.
There's a repair up in the back of this room.
Be careful accepting a summon if you get one. Don't not be auto-running when you get it.
Everyone repair, everyone repair.
What's time on ZG?
5.
Yeah, let's get an attempt in here really quick. Let's get everyone full buffs if you're here.
Pre-pot nature potion.
Stay far away from that doorway. Do not be the asshole. Do not fuck up and chain lightning everyone. Don't even get close to the door right now. There's not a need unless you're already there.
TCO. You're number 2 in that party chat.
Can you change Mexico?
And we're group 8, so check Discord.
Yeah, you have about 45 seconds before we pull.
Less than that, we just need to get the last buffs out and get our men up. Make sure you guys are ready. Start getting your men up.
Schmoosby, I can't message you because I'm chat fan right now. Sorry, DCO. Schmoosby is. I'm chat fan, so I can't spur to you.
If you have it, you want to pre-pot a nature resist potion already. Get it on cooldown. You should have already done one.
Hey, real quick, can I just confirm that our spots are the same? We just changed marks?
Correct. Marks are different. You're still all going to the same spot using the other diagram. Not, in fact, I'll remove the one that I put in just now. We'll bring it out later once we've gotten used to it.
Okay, let's be ready, guys.
So yeah, we're going off the same spots we've been doing for everybody, just different marks for those spots.
Make sure that you move to the exact opposite side when the eye beam happens. Count us in, lads. Give us 5 seconds. Target, guys. Let's go.
Alright, 3, 2.
Going now. Someone's not mounted. Random beams in 2 seconds. If you get it, run away. Vuln. Vuln again. Green. Alright, I'm done.
Dick.
Yeah, so you died just from a claw spawning underneath you.
Well, it hit me into an eye beam.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, so a chain of...
Tentacle in the glare.
Already glare coming. There it is. Get on the eyes. We can clump. Make sure we get the tentacles and the eyes down.
Move fast, move fast, move fast.
Battle res Galadon.
Move down the
I'm
clockwise.
alive.
It's okay to not move if you're killing an eye tentacle. There's no threat of the beam if you're far enough away from it. The important thing is we're just killing all of the spawns. Alright, get out of glare ending in 3 seconds. Space out. Space out.
Crab, you're in the wrong spot.
Alright, 20 seconds.
Blue, move over to left.
Glare in 10 seconds, and then tentacles shortly after. Kill the tentacles as soon as the glare goes off. Glare in 5 seconds. Here it goes.
Okay, new guys, move, move.
Kill off the eyes. You can stack.
Yeah, the left side's what you have to deal with.
You can hit Cthulhu here if there's nothing up for you to kill. It's a good opportunity to push him. It's easy for people to stack up, and a lot of the melee get on Cthulhu. A lot of the range should easily be on the tentacles. So that's maybe a difference we can change. Glare's ending in 5 seconds. Go ahead and make sure you're in your position. You're on their initial starting spot.
Galadon, get to your spot.
Tentacles coming in 1 second. Here's the tentacles.
Do you want to battle res on Viking? Probably heal this group.
Yeah, go ahead and B-res Bikener.
DCO, stay to the left.
15 seconds on glare.
Don't forget to pop the nature pots.
Yeah, repop nature as soon as you have it.
Keep the ads down, guys. If you see a claw, hit it.
Range need to be shifting to these. Alright, glare's coming. Get away from it. There it is. Stack up. Get all the tentacles down, the eyes down. Everyone on eyes. Plenty of time to move to the other side.
Get ads down, guys. Ads down.
12 seconds on glare. Get all the ads down. Keep working Cthulhu here. It's an easy time to lower him. Move back to the other half.
What?
Tentacles in 2 seconds. Here comes tentacles. Glare in 10 seconds.
So on this glare, guys, we need to get the ads down, and then we're burning him into phase 2. We're gonna move to the entrance, guys. Move to the entrance. South side.
Glare coming. Don't get hit in the glare.
Eyes in stopped in 1.
Ads down, guys.
Get all the claws. Get the eyes down before we push them.
There's one in the glare that needs to die.
Gotta get the eyes down. Alright, phase 2, here it is. Half the room. Everyone collapse back to the right half of the room. Starting half of the room. Spread out. You gotta get the eyes down. Alright, everyone's half. I'm on one half.
Move to this side and spread out. Spread out a little bit. Remember, use nature pots in the stomach to stay alive.
So we're on this half of the room. There's a second one.
We need the mages split off 3 and 3 on each side to be ready with their small eye.
If you're in the room, there's a platform you run on to port out.
Hammer of Justice.
Get the tentacles.
Eyes up,
Interrupt everything and stun and curse.
Mages on small eyes.
Warlocks curse the big one.
Interrupts, guys. No, we're not interrupting the eyes.
Yeah, not enough interrupts.
We need bigger DPS and more interrupts on the eyes.
The giant ones and the small ones. Yeah, we have a lot of dead.
So like in this phase, should we be spread?
So yeah, when you're in half the room, do you just ignore the eye tentacles on the other half? What should we be doing there?
Get like back to kind of similar to our positions, or we just do that?
Stop healing. Go ahead and
No, you don't. You ignore positions on phase 2. It's
Yeah.
all in one half of the room, and you spread out. You wait for the things to pop up. You gotta control them, get tanks on them, or stuns on them, or whatever, and burn them down.
But we can't be clumped up at all, right?
No, you can be clumped up if you get enough interrupts on the eyes.
yeah.
Okay.
What happens in phase 2 is Cthulhu stops doing the chain lightning. All of his tentacle eyes that spawn do the chain lightning, and they can be stunned, interrupted, cursed. Yeah, let's get back, guys.
It should be mages who focus basically the eyes in phase 2. They should be blinking and killing
Yeah.
almost instantly.
Yeah, we need the mages to split 3 and 3 on each side and get an interrupt on one, and then start DPSing another one.
Yeah, so we're stuck inside.
Jump on the teleporter.
So yeah, let's. I want to discuss.
We can't do anything.
All right, report if you have to. try hammering your client. Real quick, I want to talk shortly about what happens when you get ported inside the stomach of Cthulhu in Phase 2. There's going to be 2 tentacles inside. When both of those tentacles on the inside of Cthulhu die, the Cthulhu himself, the body, becomes vulnerable, and he stops spawning those big-ass tentacles that we were struggling with. So everybody then gets to just try and blow up Cthulhu. You want to time that with killing one of the big tentacles on the outside. They spawn offset by 30 seconds, the eye and the claw, the large ones. They rotate each time, I believe. And so each one spawns every 1 minute, offset by 30 seconds from each other. So ideally you time killing one of those big guys with enough people inside the stomach to then quickly kill, within 15-20 seconds, one of the guys in the middle. And that freezes the respawn of the large ones during the vulnerability of Cthulhu's body. So that's an important balance. Pretty easy to coordinate if everyone's vocal and we have clear comms on who's in the stomach and what the health is of the tentacles inside. We will rely on people on the inside to tell us how many tentacles are left and what their health is.
Yep, still stuck in here.
It's 100% now?
Are you in the stomach?
Yep. Did he reset? Yeah, because we can't drown ourselves, we can't hearth, we can't do anything.
Life tap. Play a warlock.
Yeah, we're considered dead.
Can we summon you?
Walk out, walk back in.
Yeah, have you hammered your client yet? Like Control Alt Delete Alt 4 or whatever, or
Alright, I'm trying to camp.
Yeah, two people log out.
So we need a rotation on Death Coil, and we also need to chain some Hammer of Justices on them.
yeah.
Are you talking the big tentacles or the small ones?
Big ones.
Big eye
Oh yeah, okay,
tentacles
yeah,
on
the big
you.
ones. Yeah.
We can use our death coils early on Phase 1 though, on the small ones. Yeah, if you guys aren't reading raid chat, if you would ask me more, says.
That makes sense then, because yeah, Phase 2 Giant Eye Paladins are first in the stun rotation.
The shadow procs just for mind play, right? For the eyes.
DPS are gods. We can like kill each of them before the next one comes up. Like giant claw tentacle. Then we can kill the little tentacles. Then we can kill the eye tentacle.
Little tentacles are priority over claws.
But if we're DPS are gods, they'll kill the giant claw tentacle before the to come out.
And mind plays
they
will
come out
rape
at the
the
same
raid.
time.
Literally watching people do it.
Literally watching not this server videos.
But yeah, guys, we've proven we're a stable group by being mature during progression nights like this. I know it's not fun to wipe all night. Good news is we're entering Phase 2 Cthulhu now for the first time, so.
Can we get summons on Big Poppy, Clefable, and Lasmarana?
Fuck's sake, we couldn't even get through the door like 3 weeks ago. I don't know what you guys are
People learn at different paces. It can be frustrating at times, but I mean that's what this game is all about: is getting 40 people in concert together, which is difficult to do. So.
Summon Plasmaron, a Big Poppy, and Fable, please.
Getting 40 people in concert any given night on content like this typically takes teaching about 50 or 60 people to do it.
Oh no, I was
last.
God damn it. Fuck me up.
Are we doing another full consume attempt?
Yeah, if you have them. I wanna, like, we're pushing into phase 2. I wanna blow some consumes tonight for progression and make sure people are trying their hardest.
Phase 2, can we just clarify what the target is?
It's the big tentacles.
Okay, so on phase 1, it's small eyes and then claw tentacles and then Cthulhu is kill target. Phase 2, it's big eye tentacles, then small eye tentacles, then big claws, and then we wait for the bird.
Okay, so it's in phase 2, it's pretty much pointless until we have the vulnerability to even.
Yeah, don't bother with the boss.
We got a lot of guys asking about the stomach phase, so if you guys want to clarify that for our guys that are still confused about that.
If you get eaten into the stomach, there's a little round circle that has like a little rumble in it that's gonna pump you back out if you need to escape. Once you get in there, you're gonna start taking nature damage. I think it stacks and gets worse over time.
Yeah.
You can pop a nature pot to extend your time in there a little bit, but you know, at a certain point you gotta get out. But while you're in there, if you're a healer, you gotta be healing people in there. If you're a DPS, you gotta be hitting the tentacles. If there's only one tentacle and it's at 20%, you gotta check with the raid before you kill it, because at that point he's gonna go invulnerable and we gotta blow him up.
6 or 7 stacks before leaving if your range is probably appropriate. You just watch your health. I mean, if you have a healer or not, that depends a lot on how long you're sticking in there. Melee, for the most part, don't worry about sticking in there too long, especially if you don't have a healer. Don't even try, basically. You guys, that's when you port in, there's like 3 little pillars with some acid pool around you, and you just go to the pillar that doesn't have the tentacles hitting you, and that'll port you out of the room. Otherwise, range, you just stay max distance and kill them, and they don't do anything. If there's a healer in there, then you can have melee do some pot shots on them before leaving. Only one healer in there at a time, so if there's a second one, just talk in comms and decide who's leaving, depending on who has more stacks on them.
If you're a healer and you see a healer drop in, then get out.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be leaving if another healer comes in, ideally. Then that healer waits and... Let's get full buffs up. Most people are here.
Full consume, guys, is a big try. That was a good job getting to phase 2. That's like real solid progress for us.
Sorry, again to verify, phase 2 we're spreading out, right?
Yeah, you still don't want to stack in phase 2 because of the eyes will do the chain lightning, but that's mostly for range to pay attention to. It's too important that melee are just going ham and getting their interrupts in to prevent that from happening. All of the chain lightnings that happen in phase 2 can be avoided by stuns and interrupts. Me too. Graphical error. Thought we were all doomed. Be careful accepting a summon. Don't have auto run on when you zone in.
I was gonna say, if you had summon there.
Hey guys, we're all here. You know, get your buffs out. Call if you're missing a buff right now, but we need you full consumed, then let's get in there as soon as possible. I want to do this in about 30 seconds. Make sure you get your mana and your buffs out.
phase 2, we're all in the same half of the room. Now, is mages responsible for getting the ones in the back when phase 2?
Mages should be split.
The tentacle rapes.
They should be split left and right now, and they're just gonna move through and just grab one and hit another one. So try and have like a mage assigned to the back, a mage assigned to the middle, and a mage assigned to the front in terms of interrupts.
Yeah, glad them already did that.
You know, if it's a claw tentacle coming out, why don't we do rogues run around and hit the small tentacles as well? But if it's a big eye, it needs to be everyone except mages on them right away.
Yeah, claws are a little bit easier to handle than the eyes.
But we're saying that we should hammer of justice the claws so that we can get a tank on them right away.
Yeah,
we want to death coil chain the eyes.
Yeah, we've already got our death coil chain. So that's...
Oh, you can death coil the eyes? Jesus. Alright. That's what happens, guys. First time tonight. No, I mean, that was just someone fucking up. I have it on stream.
I have an SS.
Alright, don't harp on it. Let's correct the problem by running back and restarting as fast as possible.
Who had the SS? Okay, let's wait for reses, guys. Don't zone in.
Yeah, everyone will res safe.
Or res the healer, or res the resers, and then res the warlocks, and then everyone else that's DPS and stuff start running.
Don't res anyone. That's gonna pop up and trigger Cthulhu. Yeah, no one in the doorway gets rezzed. If you know you died in the doorway, you need to run back. Otherwise, you'll get rezzed, and we'll summon you. But yeah, summons are low. We're low on shards, if we have any at all.
KGTS 5.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this situation, so should we wait for reses? Would that be faster? I would assume so.
Yeah, in this case, I think it is. It's debatable because you can't res so many people sometimes in the doorway, you know, but don't zone in, yeah. Unless you know...
I mean, if a few people zone, it's not that bad because you get the warlocks, but yeah, most should just wait for res.
We have limited shards, so...
Yeah, warlocks can go get their shit while we summon, just one doesn't need to zone in.
The reason we're saying don't zone in is because 90% of the raid can be summoned safe or res safely, and we have people available to res right now. That's the only reason we're not running back at the moment. If you died in the doorway, you need to zone in and either run back or get summoned back. The reason being, sometimes you get rezzed, and for a split second, you resurrect on top of where you died before you get ported over to the person who rezzed you, and that'll trigger like what just happened. Or never mind.
Oh man. I mean, I could walk the other side and res you, but yeah, just don't res them on this side.
Bottom line on that one, guys, it looks like it was a lag out, so let's not get frustrated about that. Shit happens sometimes, you know?
Yeah, we just gotta respond quickly and keep killing shit. We have 45 minutes left tonight. We're making good progress. Last night was huge, and it's allowed tonight for us to make meaningful progress on the final boss in the game for us. So, good attitude so far. Let's keep getting a couple more phase 2 pushes in, and I think we have a kill chance tonight, even without world buffs.
Well, let's go outside and summon for good shards and all else, and he doesn't just get res.
Yeah, and even though we needed full world buffs, guys, I mean, Oro's never like a super easy kill, so one-shotting that is always a good thing too.
Yeah, I think we're primed for Wednesday night, killing everything including Oro, and just having Cthulhu up Wednesday night. I didn't think we'd beat her this quick in terms of that part of the pacing of the instance. But, yeah, I'll be disappointed if we don't only have Cthulhu left for next Thursday. As for tonight, I still think a kill chance is within range here, so I don't want to let the morale slip here. This is all just about simple execution. We have overgeared characters for the content, frankly. Everyone does their job to a T. It's a pretty straightforward kill here. Alright, so everyone's alive except for Poppy. Let's get him rezzed. Be very careful here. Don't be the asshole to get everyone killed. Let's get full buffs up again. Good news is, once everyone becomes comfortable with the phases of this fight, the mechanics, and your position in that equation, this fight's fairly consistent. It doesn't change drastically, you know, after you've entered phase 2. Once we really get at it, you can kill it in one vulnerability. If you have the people up in world buffs. So Laz, how low were the tentacles on the inside whenever you were leaving?
I mean, with Laz Moran on them, they were like, you know, dead. No, I got one from 98 to 92 before leaving, well, attempting to leave.
And that was like 7 stacks or something?
Well, I had popped a NR, and I sat in there for a while, and then accumulated.
Hey guys, locks are on the way in. As soon as they're here, I want the spot buffs on them. We're doing full consumes, greater nature protection potions, all that stuff. We got phase 2 last time, which is huge. We just need to get there with more people up this time. Remember when we get there, we're running back to this side of the room and spreading out. We need a tank on the left and a tank on the right. Summon them. Wallen B and KGT.
Be very careful here, please, on your movements. Remember where you are. Don't wipe everyone.
Read what Teen's saying. All about positioning phase 1.
Yeah. So it's very simple. The point man is the marked guy. He's the top of your group, and then you create a square behind him, space out appropriately with your CTW enabled, so that you know your spacing.
Hit that wall.
Do we want to drop some soul stones on keys right now? Make sure Rage and Pro have a soul stone, I guess, because we'll be useful in phase 2 when we collapse on half the room. Besides Rage and Pro on soul stones, I would say healers.
Yeah, let's do like I'll do then Umkin and whoever.
Shouldn't we just put them on druids?
Alright, Pro has mine.
I think you should.
Yeah, to keep the B-reses, that's not a bad idea.
Okay, so put one on Vikinar.
I have like 6 minutes on my B-res.
That's enough.
So
yeah, that's fine. Going on you anyway. Okay, guys. Last call for buffs and all that stuff. Let's be ready to pull in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, I need paladins. And AI.
Possible. Yeah, I'll knock.
Yeah, Rage, I only called for you and I so that we can ensure that we're available for the phase 2 for tanking the big ones.
Mana looks good. Count us in 5 seconds. Everyone be ready for target to target.
Let's mark I, and you can see how many people are targeting it for target of target with Banana. We're at 32 people looking at Eye of Cthulhu right now. Up to 36.
Okay, let's go. Count it in.
38. People probably just don't have
3,
TOT.
2, 1.
Randoms in 2 seconds. Rage them out first.
Solid entrance.
just redid my nature prop again. Make me right off the bat.
So Tentacles and Glare are synced perfectly on my timer right now. 10 seconds for both. There's the Glare coming in 5. There it is.
Silencer, good job.
Get claws down. We lost a lot of people there. What happened? Was that I-beam?
Tentacle popped up and knocked us into a chain.
I went to come out immediately.
Battle Res Shadow Law, Battle Res Souza.
You're gonna need a replacement point then in group 2. You don't have enough time.
We still have 7 seconds on Glare. Get the claws down. Get in position. 3 seconds on Glare's ending. Chain's coming.
If you haven't made it to your spot, Shadow Law, just stay out of link range.
Blue and Teen, I can't find a ranger that you got.
No, you can probably see it. Yeah.
You guys are overlapping me.
Incoming Dark Layer.
It's okay to have 2 melee stacked up on 1, but don't keep it more than that. Glare ends in 13 seconds. You're now back to your original starting position upon entering the room. Glare ending in 4 seconds. Everyone spread.
Blue and Teen spread.
There you go.
This is as far as
Poppy move right, PCO left. There we go. Not that far.
There's an I-beam up.
Corona's getting it. He had to go far. It's not his eye. He literally went out of his way to get it.
Interrupt that.
Now we're all in a
There's Glare. Get out of the beam. Get the tentacles. Tentacles up now. Everyone on tentacles.
Going buckler.
Silence.
Get this one in the beam. Get the one in the beam. That one was up way too long, guys.
I got knocked back twice. I was working on it.
player ends in 2.
I think my point man's dead. I'm just step up. Get on the tentacles.
Damn, Susan.
Yeah, I'm having some weird issues trying to target the eye tentacles versus Cthulhu. But that's mostly tap targeting.
Just gotta tap target it.
Glare coming. Get on the eyes. Yeah, wipe it up. Stop healing. Good call.
Up into the eye beam.
Everyone I-beam. Release and run back.
Hey, Pro, did I jump lightning to you in there? Or, I mean, did you take damage from that? 'Cause I got hit and it bounced back to you, but my CTW was definitely green.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
CTW has a
It's not perfect.
1 yard where it's green and change.
Yeah, latency and other things make it imperfect, but it's rough anyways because it's okay if it chains once. It's a 1.5 multiplier, and I mean you're not gonna always not have a chain, and a lot of times it makes sense to have a couple good melee, both just kill an eye even if they stack for it. So what's occurring in some of these, which is the RNG component, I think, is the tentacles popping out, knocking people around, either clustering them for a chain or knocking them into the I-beam or something like that, which just further illustrates the importance of spacing so that a spawning claw doesn't fuck up too many people. You get knocked around some. It makes it that much harder.
Do the claws spawn under someone or just randomly?
Randomly anywhere, I think. Or maybe under, I'm not sure.
Randomly under 1 person.
There you go. So yeah, ideally one person gets knocked up each time.
Go boys. Huge run in here.
30 minutes.
Focus up, we can get a really good attempt in here. I want us to get to phase 2 with as little possible as down.
You can pop your prop pots now.
It's 2 minutes, right? That's probably a little early.
Oh,
but
Shadow too.
Yeah. Wait, how long does it last? I don't have any left.
An hour.
It is an hour. Okay. I'm sorry. You can definitely pop at any time.
You just want to make sure that you can have it up again when you start to play.
Yeah, so a lot of us have now died to Dark Glare coming out. It's definitely still an issue. You just have to make sure you're keeping track of the timing on when it's hitting and watching the animation of Cthulhu to know where it's going to point. Also, I haven't confirmed yet, but since we do have an increased group of reserves available, we may be either starting Molten Core or BWL an hour earlier than normal on Sunday, just to make sure we have plenty of time to knock out both big content. We're most likely starting with BWL, ensuring we down it in time. If for any reason we're running late on Sunday, which I don't think we would, but we're at least going to get a Gar Baron kill in for the Binding Chase, as well as the couple other items, Quick Strike and Brute Blade. Besides that, we'll have a fresh roster for Sunday. For Sunday, we're going to be also mixing people in at a little bit higher level, most likely than we are for AQ moving forward. The past couple days have been unique. We've been rotating a lot of people in. but we'll start to solidify the AQ roster much more rapidly than what our Sunday roster ends up being every week. We've allowed people to choose their preference when they sign up for the raids each week on what's most important to them. Obviously that doesn't change much in terms of when we're making roster decisions, but it is useful for people that we want to make sure are rotated in on MC or BWL content that's important to them. Some guys are already best in slot 1 or 2 of those, and they don't mind sitting for the good of the raid. At the same time, though, we do need those characters to ensure a quick and easy clear. The double-edged sword of giving someone every item in the game. In terms of Cthulhu again, I think we're still seeing a lot of people clumping up. We're now in an emergency situation, making sure every single raid member has CTW set up as well as target of target correct, and we're disciplined enough not to step in front of that doorway. It's very simple things here, and you get punished for it if a single person out of the 40 doesn't have it working right. I don't think there's any need for us to try and cheese this with Soulstone alts, and we don't even have the alts ready if we wanted to do it. But a lot of guilds early on were Soulstoning almost every single person. We don't need that though. It's really just simple execution here, and then having enough buffs to deal with the RNG damage of a tentacle knocking you into other people and chaining or shit like that. Avoidable death-wise, we didn't get a chance to improve phase 2 on the small tentacles, but that'll be something mages are going to be responsible for. And then also being when the beam's coming out, predicting where it's going to come out and having everyone on their toes in terms of moving out of where it's about to pop out. Because you instantly die. You cannot be healed through it. Takes a lot of repetitions for people to get comfortable with the beam, because it generally only kills a select group of people each attempt. Also, little things on the initial first random chain lightning that happens. If you see that it's you, if you can quickly react in any way to move farther away from people, that's always ideal. But in general, you just want to focus on spacing and minimizing the jump.
Remember, guys, take initiative and responsibility, especially if you're ranged in terms of ads. Like, we need to have minimal ads up at all times, especially when we have a dark lair with tentacles.
Alright, most people are back now. Let's make sure we're getting all the buffs up again. Nice and calm here. Don't get twitchy and step into the doorway and fuck all of us. Let's go ahead and get full buffs up.
Full consumable attempt as well.
We're not going to beat these full consume attempts into the ground, but I think we have a huge learning experience in front of us, and I think we have the opportunity of getting deep into phase 2 and making kill attempts right now. So this will likely be the last full consume attempt of the night. Overall, I think everyone gets the basic strategy of what they're doing here, at least during phase 1. Phase 2 is all about killing the fucking eyes, the big ones especially. So to reiterate this kill priority in phase 2, it's the large eyes, then the little eyes, then the claws. Is that correct?
Yeah. Call out if you're missing buffs, guys.
Large eye, little eye, big claw. Yeah, and make sure, don't rely on your group positioning to know where to move. Make sure you know where home base is and be one of the anchors for every single group and directing where people are heading. takes a lot of responsible people doing the right thing at the right time in this fight, and you get punished when people don't. So it's a lesson in group coordination. Everyone's responsible in their own way.
Hey, can we set something for the melee? It seems like there's some ambiguity with where the tentacle spawn relative to where we've been standing. Can we just all default to the one closest to us to the left? Does that make sense?
So if you're looking at the eye of Cthulhu, you would run back to the one that spawns slightly to you or to the left of you.
Yeah, I think that would make the most sense just because like, there's some ambiguity.
That's fine. So so when you turn around, it obviously switches to now it's suddenly your right, but I get what you're saying. If you're looking at the eye, whatever is your left at that moment is the small eye that you favor. Yeah, I think most of the ambiguity is because people aren't in the right spot. We're still having some issue with people getting in the right positions and then spacing appropriately, especially after one cycle of the beam popping out. But it's fine. We've been recording these. We're going to be picked this apart all week and trying to improve. We're not going to be calling people out, but we are going to be direct in our constructive criticism. So.
Have your consumables up, interpretations, pods popped, all that stuff.
Call it if you're missing a buff.
As you're running toward the eye, go to the left a little bit.
Well, you're talking about the eyes. If you're facing, it's to your left. If you're facing.
Yeah, so when you're looking at Cthulhu, you're going to favor the eye to your left, so when you turn around, it suddenly becomes to your right, but...
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does.
State the direction as you're looking at the eye.
To your left.
So as you're looking at the eye tentacle.
If you're looking at the big eye, you'll favor the tentacle to the left.
Behind you. When you're looking at the eye tentacle, which way are you going?
Right.
Okay. Okay, last count us in. 5 seconds.
Can I get a mark? That's point.
Call out missing buffs earlier, guys. Check your buffs way earlier. Let's go.
3, 2.
We only have 27.
1.
Go. Random in 2 seconds. Glare in 10. Same with party.
Glare and tentacle, same time, ranged. Watch which tentacle's in the glare and you need to get it down.
3 seconds on glare. Get ready to move from glare. There it is. Good job. No one died from glare that time on the spawn. Remember, you can stack.
Counterclockwise.
Add it down, guys. Add it down.
Yeah, and to keep the claw tentacles from moving on us, it's okay if you tank it, even if you're a clothy. You can stand next to it and let it hit you until a tank gets over on you. That helps the uptime of them so we can kill them faster. Alright, glare ends in 8 seconds. Start spreading. 4 seconds, spread out.
Two claws in the back of the room.
Get the ads, guys.
Glare coming. Get ready for the glare. Placement. Now that's the glare. Move away.
Clockwise? Yeah, clockwise.
rage mob.
Die down. Come on.
Like it's got rage more.
Remember to melee. You want to be on these claws if there's no tank on them, especially. Even a cloth should be standing on the claw, getting hit by it, so they stay still.
I'm going to my original spawn now, right?
Yes, it should be back in the original spot.
You sound like a jerk about it.
Get out, get out,
Move, guys, move.
Like he just recently got here. Don't stack.
Battle res on Death's Beast.
I'm taking point until Death's is back.
Blue, you need to be right.
Get these claws down, guys.
Poppy, move
Everyone,
left now.
If you see a claw, get on it.
I'm moving back.
We need a battle res on Teen if we have one left.
I'm on it already, but if you can.
Glass, that's the glare move. Here comes the tentacles. You can stack to kill the tentacles.
Get this tentacle in the glare. Range, get it.
Clockwise.
Range, you gotta be ready to help out when the glare is going towards an eye tentacle like that.
OG's gonna replace.
Clearance in 5 with your spots.
Loot, you are replacing Teen. You're in already.
Glare's ending now. Spread out.
Get out, man. Get out.
Dude, move right.
Eyes.
Okay, let's push him through.
Gala, right.
Get the ads down.
He's at 3%. Get ready to collapse.
Mark glare.
3%. Just push Cthulhu and collapse. No glare. Alright, collapse.
Yeah, collapsed, everybody.
Entry half of the room. Pros on the right, rages on the left.
Don't stack too big.
Get ready
guys.
for the big ones.
Spread out, spread out.
Big interrupts. Spread as much as possible. This half of the room, spread out.
I got the Hoj. Keep tank on it.
Rate party not for 20 seconds.
Mages will get eyes here in a second.
Eyeless.
You ready to get the eyes?
15 seconds on.
Rages down.
Well, and Pro need to split themselves.
Yeah, Quell, you're going to take the other side that we're standing on right now. You move to the other side. That's your side. I'm on this side.
Okay, eye and rape party coming in. Mages be ready for small. Everyone else on big eye. Spread out, spread out.
Interrupts on big eye. That's priority.
Mages get on these small eyes.
As well as next up.
Also, if you can interrupt a small eye, if it's convenient, you should be doing that. But big eye's kill priority.
Give it for,
Just keep spreading.
Alright, right one's at 60%.
Remember that the eyes do the chain lightning. The big eyes do the chain lightning.
I Hoj will tank on the claw. Get another Hoj on
Spread
it.
back.
Before we-
So you don't want to proc these tentacles spawning on the far side of the map. Like we have Laz, you're on the other side of the room than we're supposed to be on. The whole.
I mean, there's nothing I can do when I come out of the stomach.
Yeah.
This is it's gonna be a wipe. We're not doing small tentacles.
Yeah.
There's too many small ones in the back.
That was still a really good move getting into phase 2 though. We only had a few dead. Now one problem I'm seeing is when we're spread here, when we go out to kill the tentacle party, like the ones in the back, that can cause these big ones to spawn back there, which can become problematic.
Spread out on one half, and then as soon as the big tentacle spawns, they need to move to the back.
Yeah. Alright, so
Inside the 50%.
we have enough time for one last attempt in raid timing, so let's get back and get one last in. Let's see if we can reliably get into phase 2 again.
We had really good phase 1. Nobody died until after.
Warlocks running Fell Hunters plus the nubs.
Sorry, so I wasn't here for the beginning of this, and I'm not entirely sure about phase 2. So I understand we go stack the door, but how far spread out are we looking?
As much as you want to have, you still want to honor CTW. So you need to be spread out to not be stacking chains of lightning for the most part. That's easier. That's primarily instructions for healers and casters because it's simple for you to do that. Melee can get away with stacking a little bit more, ideally in pairs or threesomes, and you don't have to worry about chain lightning if everyone's interrupting and killing the eyes quick enough. And it's only the big eyes that do the chain lightning, correct? The little eyes still do the mind flay. Yeah. So yeah, if the big eye spawns once a minute, so the only time chain lightning's happening in phase 2 is when a big eye is spawned, he's not getting stunned or interrupted, and then you're susceptible to chains.
So Krabby makes a good point. Let's have mages spread themselves on certain points. So like the far back and then the middle and then the closer ones, and then the two that are very close to the raid are going to be melee. So why don't we have all rogues on the two small tentacles closest to us initially, and then switch over to the eye tentacle.
Do you need
Actually,
healers spread out
we only need
accordingly as well?
one on each.
Another thing I've noticed that we'll fix for next time, Rage and I are in groups that are directly next to each other, so we need to put like a spacing group between every main, or all the prot warriors.
The problem is that whoever numbered those groups didn't just do them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, we'll fix that. We can switch, we'll do something that we're comfortable with and then stick to it.
So you're spreading mages out. Do you need healers assigned to them as well?
No, because the tentacles are just gonna mind flay a random person and not necessarily gonna be the mages.
Dude, I can fucking taste this kill though. This is exciting because this is not mechanics that are outside of our reach. Like we're already getting it. It was surprisingly easy in phase 2. It felt like until we get a chain off by accident or something.
Well, it's so you don't accidentally coil early. Make sure we have all of it.
It's pretty important we have people on the right half of the room though in phase 2. I know people get popped out of the stomach, as well as you have to run to the opposite room to kill the little eyes. So that, I guess that just creates a little bit of trouble to work with, but mitigating that will be important.
You want to be near the stairs, but you don't want to be clumped up. That's the key. Like, don't be standing on top of each other. Just be around that general area.
Yeah, and that reason is why mages are on tentacles in phase 2.
So question, if we're pumped on one side of the room, do we not get chain lightning from the eyes on the other side of the room?
You can get mind flayed from them, but that's why we have mages running back there to interrupt them.
It'll submerge if no one's on it after a certain amount of time and then pop back up somewhere. I don't know what the distance is on the chain lightning from the big eyes in phase 2.
Infinite, they'll just target someone.
But hey, consistent progress tonight so far, so I know this is frustrating for some. Some guys have been doing this for months already, and they're joining us. I think we're showing improvement as long as everyone doesn't make stupid mistakes. This should be a pretty easy learning curve for us. Let's get one last good attempt in that we can learn from. I still think we have a shot at a kill here if everyone executes, but yeah, I think we got it down.
We're gonna go a couple minutes over raid time, guys, but this is important to get us in shape for the next try.
Yeah.
Next week, if this isn't a kill.
Odds are we can get some Cthulhu attempts in Sunday, especially if we start an hour early. We would likely, prioritizing before more Cthulhu attempts Sunday will be all of BWL, and then at least the binding bosses and MC, and then more Cthulhu attempts hypothetically Sunday. We should definitely have the 40 people for it. We'll judge by how many players that we have that are returners. Good news is with the sign-up sheet, that was a huge success that I hate that we haven't been doing longer. It's a great idea and execution by Dude. That allowed us to see that we had about I think 39 or 40 people officially sign up for all 3 raid nights. And each week we will be prioritizing people that can make all 3 nights, because it's crucial not only during progression but after, to make sure we're clearing all important content for the health of the guild. And it's a great way to filter people in terms of priority of a roster spot. So I understand some weeks not everyone can make all the raids, let alone any sometimes. We understand that, you know, we call ourselves casual tryhards because you will get a spot in the rotation, best in slot items, you know, a chance to even a reserve spot even if you don't have perfect attendance yet. We do let people naturally fall into more reserve spots based on, you know, their consistency among one of the highest things. I think everyone's been really mature so far. I've made sure to explain to pretty much all players affected the past couple days. We're firm believers that a healthy raiding guild, you know, has 50 to 60 raiders that are rotating in at any given time. And it's just a constant balancing act to make sure you're fair to everybody and expectations are set properly. I try extremely hard once I've set the roster for the week not to change it. And we've asked some cores that either I made a mistake on or that were just a hair late, or for a lot of different small things to sit, just so we can get these instances. You know, each night we're going to be hitting it hard at the exact start time with 40 people. So there's a lot of things going on. We're doing our best. Try to be as transparent as possible. Everyone can have fun. Served us well so far for the past couple years.
If I count right, we're down to 10 healers.
Alright, most people are back at the room. Let's start doing buffs. Vuln, will you heal this instead of Shadow?
Yeah, but I don't have any healing gear on me, so we'll be back.
Okay.
Shame on you.
Stay Shadow then, and just work on the eye the whole time.
Yeah, on phase 2 mages should just be like closer to the boss than the stairs. You still want to be on the half of the room that we're on, but you want to be close to the boss so you can get back as soon as possible. You can get the interrupts on the eyes. You guys should be assigned to individual eyes for interrupts.
Soul stones are back up if we want to reset.
Yeah.
When it's
Last
a
thing for the night.
claw, we do have backup. It's supposed to be, I can't remember who assigned the lock.
Focus healers on soul stones. Any druid that has B-res up, and then dude and some other top raid healers.
Do you have your res?
Ledinda has a B-res up. Shadowlaw has a B-res up. Umkin does not.
Shadowlaw.
So get Ledinda and Shadow, and I don't know if Baikonur does or not.
Like I had look.
Guys, let's go to the buff. Go to the buff.
Okay, I show everyone in range, so let's get all our buffs up. Call out if you're missing something.
Engineers can silence the eyes. So can Shadow Priest. Warlocks, Outhunters. Warlocks, Warriors.
You have to be spec on the silence though for Shadow Priest, don't you?
Yeah, but I am stuck into it.
Nice.
Be Shadow Form. Do you have to be in Shadow Form to use it?
No. I don't think there's any spells like that.
so just make sure you have your buffs and consumables up.
Yeah.
Mana is looking good, so let's do this in say 10 seconds.
I have a soul stone.
Just throw it on a druid that doesn't have one.
Or Dude or Umkin. Dude's gone. Throw it on Umkin. Alright, everyone cluster up against the wall here. Couple more seconds for Manate. Alright. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
We had 26 targeting Cthulhu that time. Random in 1 second.
Take it back. Remember ads, guys. Big 30.
Range, you have to pay attention to where the glare is going and if there's going to be a tentacle there. We need that down.
Glare's coming.
Battle res, big pop.
There's the glare.
Going
Yeah, maybe.
Battle res, Fikey, and then Fikey blow one on Fizzle or Poppy.
Like he doesn't have one.
Get him up anyway.
Alright, start rotating. So yeah, we need to make sure the prot warriors are spread in the groups. And we definitely need to assign a fourth prot for the fourth corner. Glare's ending in 5 seconds. There's the little eyes. Spread for beams.
We have a battle res that's blowed on Fizzle or Poppy.
Bojo, can you back up just a little bit?
Actually, prio Poppy on the res if you can.
Yes, you can come forward if you want.
Dark glare in 5. Tentacle rape in 6. Dark glare in 1 second. Get ready for glare. That's facing. That's the glare. Move. Tentacles in 1. Alright. No more, no lightning. Get those tentacles down.
Somebody needs to take it down.
One of the ivy moving.
Well, make sure you know that get the person up.
So now we're on original starting positions. My appointment's dead to pro stepping up. There's the tentacles.
Nasuda, switch me spot.
Pro Blazer, you get 4 yards to be your next melee range.
Dark glare in 5.
Dark glare's coming, guys.
Yeah, melee should be max.
Tentacle rape.
There's the glare.
Get the tentacles down range, guys.
Tentacles now.
Counterclockwise.
Range on tentacles, let's go. This one's up way too long over here. There's 2 of them up way too long. 3.
You have 3 coming down.
try. You can check out the mechanic a little more if you want, but this is definitely a wipe. We made some good progress with a couple looks at phase 2, so hopefully we can get some attempts in on Sunday, but if not next week, we're coming back with a lot more knowledge.
Yeah.
I think everyone involved at this point is going to be, like, their homework should be to think about how that fight went for them and think about how mechanics work, you know, just like spend a few minutes thinking about it.
At this point on our good attempts, world buffs would have made a world of difference, and because we were getting into phase 2 with like 3 or 4 dead, we're making really strong improvements on phase 1. It's at an almost passable state probably. We just need more looks at phase 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows that we're not even close to each other.
I watched it bounce from Oomkin to KGT, which I'm sure weren't close, and then it hit me, who definitely they weren't close to me either.
That could be like a visual bug on the chain lightning.
I mean, I can confirm from anecdotal experience that the chains are working like they should be. I don't know about your add-on, but yeah. Have a good night, guys. Or sorry, someone was talking. You were really quiet. Couldn't hear you.